Greetings and welcome to Unveiling Reality. How's everybody doing out there this evening? Hope you're all living well. Tonight, we're going to the bottom of the rabbit hole in terms of the current deprogramming arc we've been on, because these things seem to all be piled together. A certain line of thinking that leads you from one thing to another if you're into the grift. And what we want to do here, and what we've been trying to do here, is put out the truth about these things, and hopefully deprogram some people from the unfortunate grift that's going on with these different scientific mechanisms that are out there right now. And of course, a lot of it has to do with just what you think you're seeing, or what people think they're seeing, and then never confirming it, but just listening to bad information because it confirms a bias that they want in their mind. So what we're trying to do here is just lay it out for them, maybe give them some information they've never seen before, help walk that back, and of course, giving them an out, giving them a way to come back and realize that there's another way to live. There's another way to live. Tonight we're going to be tackling CERN, which is a super hydro collider located in Switzerland, with a lot of like conspiratorial lore around it, and we're going to find out exactly what it does, its history about it, and then we're going to look at a lot of the grifts that are out there about it. We're going to walk through all the scary little creepy things they say is going on there. We're going to debunk some of the misconstrued associations there that kind of give it some more of an ominous feel. And then we're going to get into, after that, we're going to get into one of the byproducts of this particular grift, and that is this thing called the Mandela effect. So I'm sure you guys have heard of that before. That'll be a fun little ending to the show when we go through that stuff. We're going to talk about that. I have my own ideas about why this happens, this Mandela effect, where people think that little details have been altered throughout their life to become something else, and they're like, well, no way, it used to be that way when I was little, now it's not there anymore, now it's been changed, we must be in a parallel universe, some these great conclusions, that are out there. So we're going to walk through some of that and some of the most famous ones. That'll be the fun part. And if we have time, we may even look at one little thing that has to do with the solar eclipse, like the recent solar eclipse. There was a lot of, like, whenever something like that happens, they always think that there's going to be some kind of big move by the powers that be, and it usually has to do with things like the chemtrails or the HAARP or CERN or something like that. So obviously they have to all work together, because that way it's nice and confusing and convoluted, even though none of these things actually do work together in any way, shape, or form. But that's the part of, that's why we do it. That's why we do it, because people, as you're going to see, attempt to make a lot of money off of deception, and that's just not the mainstream establishment narrative, but it's also in the alternative narrative world of the second veil, where the conspiracy grifters lie. And they're no different than the establishment grifters that are out there. It's just two sides of the same coin. And what we want to do is show people there's another way. And there's a way to be factual and be outside, and be outside the establishment narrative and be anti-establishment. You don't have to jump the shark to not be bought into the establishment subversion. And hopefully, as time goes on, a lot of these people have fallen for some of these things, and it's literally driving people crazy. If they're down in the abyss long enough, it'll literally drive them crazy, to the point where you see some very strange behavior and some very strange self-induced mind control, if you will. But first, let's say hello to the crowd, guys. What's up out there on Rumble, X, and of course here on YouTube? Of course, I'm in all three places, but I'm looking at my YouTube chat as well. Let's say hello to Daisy Girl Williams, my VIPs in the front row. There they are. There's Shelly Wolfram dropping the links. Thank you so much. He wipes his paws, lips, and Hausen. There he is. All right. And we got HT, the VIP section. All right. Lady Autumn Skies made it in there as well. What's up, y'all? What's up? We're going to have fun tonight. You'll be in and out of chat. All right. Well, we'd love it when you're here. Thanks for being here. All right. We got, let's see, how's Rumble doing over there? We're all set, right? Okay, good. We're off and running on Rumble, and X is there as well. Let's see, did I add this link yet? I was watching before we get started, I was watching JP Sears, one of his shows recently, and he actually showed some JFK footage from Bill Cooper. And I was trying, you can't really say much when they're doing it or when it's already been posted, but yeah, I know, that you can't really listen to that guy too much. He kind of falls in the grifter end of things. I know some people don't like to hear that, but it's really true when you dig into it. When you really, I've done a lot of research on the guy. So, but anyways, he kind of came across it and saw this piece of footage that appears like the driver turns around and fires a shot at Kennedy, and Bill's just like sitting there in this old footage going, yeah, it's right there in front of us, but they always crop it out. So Hunley does that American Untold Stories or whatever with Groupard, and they had Robert Groden on, who's a famous documentary kind of like filmmaker and did a lot on the JFK assassination stuff and a lot of analysis on it. He's old school as hell. So I sent him a super chat to get their input on it, and I clipped it and I sent it to JP. I was like, here's that question you had, because he was like, well, I don't know if this is true. This is kind of weird, but I don't know. You guys help me out. So I helped him out. We'll see if he replies to it. It would be cool if he did. Hey, MLS, how you doing, buddy? Good evening. Because then maybe I can actually get a lot of communication to get him on the show. I'd love to interview him. I think we'd have a lot of fun, and yeah, it would be hilarious, I'm sure. Thanks to all those YouTube members, man. They're scrolling down there at the bottom of the screen. Thank you guys so much for being part of the Winner Circle, man. I appreciate it. Helps keep the channel going. Helps support all the little micro costs it takes to run the channel, and I really do appreciate it. Plus, you get a free super chat every month, and there it is. So I hope you guys will use that as well. All right, we are off and running. So tonight is going to be about CERN. CERN. If you haven't heard about this, right? What it is it's a hydrogen collider, and I want to take you through how it works and give you an inside tour. It's a little bit off the track of the other two deprogramming streams I've done recently, where I kind of like take a little bit of a different approach. But this one, I think we have to start here, and then we'll get into the all the accusations, the conspiratorial accusations about it, and all the things that people like to run with to say things like, we're opening portals to different dimensions so evil entities can come through them. I mean, there's a whole bunch of them we're going to copy, but we're going to cover. But and I'm going to show you a lot of different examples of what I'm talking about. And there is some weird stuff. Of course, it's Switzerland, so I'm expecting some weird stuff. And but yeah, there's some weird stuff that kind of adds to it, but people will convolute the antics of people in Switzerland with CERN itself, and we're going to get into all the ins and outs of that. So, but first, I want to take us in and basically give us a tour and help us understand better what it does. And I think that I found a good take on this from a lady named Cleo Abram. And first, before I do that, let me do this. MLS, thank you for the $10 super chat. I really do appreciate it. Here you go. And thank you so much for that. I do appreciate it. Absolutely. Hope you're doing great, man. I was looking around today for that Stormy Daniels testimony. I don't know if it ever happened or not. I mean, I'm sure it did, but the verdict on it or something was supposed to happen today. You got any updates for us on that? Because I started looking around for it, didn't really find it, and then I got busy doing my own thing here, and I never could find it again. So I don't know what happened to it. But anyways, yeah, we got another one. We got to do this too. All right. Talking Trash Shoes, thank you for gifting the 5 memberships. And let's see who. Daisy got a membership. Last got a membership. I Am Ishmael got a membership. Salty Rules. And Cynthia Retired Fire 42. All right, guys, welcome to the Winner Circle. Hope you enjoy. Hope you enjoy the gift, and make sure you thank Shelly. And yeah, man, here we are. I hope you'll decide to become permanent members as well. Uh, it really does help. I do appreciate it. And thank you again, Shelly, for that. I do appreciate that as well. All right, let's bring this in. So Cleo had Abram. Um, seems like a really fun person. And so she got a tour of this, and she has like 2.47 million subscribers. Man, how do people do this? I guess, I mean, how do they do this? It's amazing. But we're gonna walk through this tonight, and I'll turn on the closed captions for this one. Hopefully, it won't interfere too much. I'll keep an eye on it if it does. But this will give us a nice introduction to everything and help explain how this works. So I know for a lot of people, this is maybe a new topic. Maybe you've heard of it in the past, but haven't really had a chance to dive in or figure out what it exactly is. So I think you guys will really enjoy learning about this. It's interesting. A lot of really cool discoveries have come out of CERN that people don't know about, and we'll run through that in a minute here. But I want to give you the introduction first. Let's bring her on up. Here she is, Cleo Abram.
Okay, ready? Right here on the border between France and Switzerland is the biggest science experiment ever built. It's this huge tunnel, over 100 meters underground and 27 kilometers long, running under nearby homes and businesses and farms. And inside that tunnel, scientists put a long blue tube big enough to crawl through. And inside that tube, they put two pipes that they keep colder and emptier than outer space. And down those pipes, they fire particles smaller than atoms in opposite directions, pushing them faster and faster and faster until, when they're almost at the speed of light, they smash together, sending subatomic debris flying off into this massive detector. This underground particle smasher took thousands of people from over 100 different countries, $5 billion, and over 30 years to plan and build. My question was, why? Why do this? Why spend so much money and time to smash particles together in an underground tunnel? And now, why do so many people say that what we really need to do is build a bigger one?
Future circular collider, new particle accelerator,
building a bigger one
in Geneva, Switzerland, more than 3 times its size, and twice.
That's what I say. That's amazing. It's amazing that this thing, the way it's built, and to imagine building to build a perfectly well operating circle underground like that large is it's a feat, man. It's a marvel of engineering, if you will.
As deep.
I'm going all the way to Switzerland, to the particle smasher itself, to understand what's really going on here, and to go on a journey that will forever change how I see myself and the world around me.
So, like, as you look at this, right, as you learn about this, well, this is one of the things, like with HAARP, right? You see the people who actually work there, right? And you get to see inside the facility, and that they're very friendly and they're very happy to give you a tour and explain how everything works. And if you think if it's some kind of secret facility that's doing all kinds of nefarious things that they might not want to give tours, right? And the people that will be working there might be a little sinister, right? This is where it starts to not line up with kind of like the bias that's out there about it being some kind of like evil thing, right? And I don't know that a lot of people that adopt the conspiracy grift on this actually ever take the time to see a video like this. And that's why reason I want to open with it, but I hope that for those who have or happen to be stopping by, man, this is an attack on you, right? This is actually a handout. It's a reach out. And I know my crowd here, man, they're here to learn. They know what's going on. And I realize that sometimes I speak to the crowd that's with me, and sometimes I'm speaking to the crowd that's not. That hopefully the people that are going to stop in and maybe learn something from the video, or maybe even get something out of it when they've been led astray. So these deprogramming videos are never an attack on the thing that you've been kind of promoting or supporting or enabling. It's actually a way to give you the rest of the information those grifters that you've been listening to won't give you, right? So you have a choice, because all deceit is abuse, right? And when you find out that these people have been abusing you for their own personal gains or because of their own personal delusions, you may find that it's a good time to maybe reset this belief, reassess it, revet it. And that's what I do for you here. That's what I try to do. So I hope you'll stick with me through this. And for everybody else out there that's here and always active and learning and part of the channel, man, and I know you guys get it.
This is huge if true. Part of this video is sponsored by Shopify.
Okay, hold on.
Down to the giant particle smasher, more scientifically known as the large.
Yeah.
I'm in an elevator on my way down to the giant particle smasher, more scientifically known as the Large Hadron Collider, or LHC. It's inside the biggest and most famous physics lab in the world, CERN. I can't believe I'm here. Getting to visit here is a really big deal. Thousands of scientists from all around the world gather here to do cutting-edge research about how the universe works. All right, we're in a tunnel now. Beyond that yellow door is one of the places where particles actually collide. Specifically, this one.
Hey, Memento Mori, what's up, buddy?
Oh my God. It's beautiful.
This thing is huge. To give you a sense of scale, just look at it compared to a person.
Look how small they are. Those are people compared to this enormous machine. How did you put this in here?
So we can see from down here that there is a shaft above us. If people have the hobby to build a ship in a bottle, it's exactly the same way of constructing. You have to lower it in and then construct it in place.
I'm so amazed that people built this.
This giant underground detector is where those particles finally collide after being sped up close to the speed of light around that 27-kilometer track.
And like what? Okay, this may be a sci-fi take here, but if you're trying to open a portal, I'm gonna like, I know that we're in the truth area of the show right now, but if you're trying to open, like people think that you're opening a portal, wouldn't you want that thing to be kind of like pointing straight up like a Stargate? I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Like I said, it's probably just a sci-fi influence there. I don't know. If you open it like that, then it comes out of the sky. I don't know. I'm sure they'll make up some kind of excuse for it, but I always think of Stargate when I think of portals.
Where's the collision happen?
So the collision happens over here. So the detector is symmetrical around the collision point. And so we're at one end of it.
The detector is big, but the actual collider part is very small.
What you can see in the center is the Large Hadron Collider. So you can really see how tiny the beam pipe is.
Each pipe is about the size of your two hands, like this, or about the diameter of an orange, with thousands of magnets running along it that force the particles within that pipe into a space the width of a human hair.
I just accidentally pulled out one of my hairs in order to demonstrate this. Can you see this hair? Okay. Can you see this hair compared to the scale that we're talking about right now?
That's the size of the space the particles are moving through. But even a human hair is enormous compared to the particles themselves. You already know that atoms and the particles inside of them are very small, but they are so much tinier than most people think. Look at a single strand of your hair. Now imagine that single hair is as big across as the entire Earth is wide. Now, zoom in. The size of a single cell inside of that hair would be like the distance from Paris to Rome. Now zoom in again. A protein inside that cell would be like 6 soccer fields across. An atom inside that protein would be like 1 school bus across. The nucleus at the center of that atom would be like the width of a grain of rice. And the protons within that nucleus, they'd be like grains of salt. So a proton compared to the width of your hair is like a grain of salt compared to the entire Earth. And that is what scientists are sending flying around inside of this machine. Protons, which are being squeezed by magnets into a space the width of a hair. It is incredible that we can do this.
Yeah, let that sink in for a second. That's pretty wild, right? And it's not just wild because they actually built it and they're able to build it and do that. But they actually came up with it. They thought this is what we need to do. We have to build something like this to be able to do this. And then we need to do this to learn this. It's really, I mean, it's mind blowing when you think about it. And that we actually started working on this quite a while back. It's been around since 1954 or 54. It's been going on ever since, man. It's really incredible. Of course, they've had several upgrades as well. We'll talk about those upgrades in a second.
As humans, we experience only a tiny slice of the full scale of reality. But there's
Right? That's
so
pretty
much
good.
more. Wait, but hang on. If they're sending these tiny little protons down a tunnel 27 kilometers long, how did they get them to actually hit each other? Just think about shooting grains of salt at each other from really far away. Seriously, think about it. How would you do that?
Okay, so anybody want to jump in on that? I do have like ultra low latency on the chat, so I won't, don't feel like it'll come across fast. Anybody want to take a guess at how they do it? How do they make these two grains of sand actually meet and hit each other? How do they get these protons to hit each other? That's basically what it is. It's like grain of sand compared to the Earth, right? So in actuality, it's very much smaller than a grain of sand. But they're using that comparison. So remember when they say grain of sand, they're talking about compared to the size of the Earth, right? And to the hair, to the proton. So anybody want to guess how they do it? They spit into the wind. I don't know. If you guess right, you might win a prize. All right. Furby Slayer, magnetics. So yeah, magnetics is how they speed it around. That's correct. That's how they get get it to build up speed and collide with each other. Yeah, that's true. But how did you get like an individual particles? So you're talking about these really small, fine particles. How did you get these things to actually hit each other, not miss each other every time, right? It's pretty obvious when you hear the answer, and it's probably like if you're thinking of it, it's what's the one way to guarantee it? You probably are right. You probably are right. We'll go ahead and continue.
If you just thought fire tons of salt, that's exactly what they do.
Yeah, they just fire a bunch of them at one time, so they just overload it. So if they overload it, eventually two will hit each other, right? We'll see how much overloading they have to do.
They don't just fire 100 or 1,000 protons at each other. They fire 100 billion in
100
bunches
billion.
in each direction. And when they do that, 100 billion versus 100 billion, guess how many actually collide?
On average.
Oh wait, it says on the bottom. I was gonna ask you to guess, but it says right there on the screen, doesn't it? Yeah, it is really cool.
50
it's
or
really
60
cool.
collisions per crossing.
You heard that right. 60. 60 will actually collide, which is
100
why
billion
they'll do
versus
the whole
100
thing
billion.
over and over and over again. 30 million times per second. There's
Wow.
approximately 3,000 bunches, each with over 100 billion protons, creating 1 billion collisions per second inside of this massive machine. Let me show you something. Hang on. And wait for it. So I made these hats and sweatshirts as gifts for our Huge If True team, and I keep getting comments.
Like she's really good at like throwing it for any creators that are out there. She's really good at the ad integration. It's quick. It's quick, but it's like you don't even see it coming. The creators that are really good at ad integration usually don't mind it when you're watching it. Like if you're presenting it like me, you want to skip through it, but she does really good job of adding it in.
A lot of the creative shops that shirts for Huge If True product images across borders.
A little bit of a tease earlier,
so
and then she's doing the full-on one now.
Now, back to the story.
There we go.
Okay, so we have thousands of scientists spending billions of dollars to smash billions of protons in an underground tunnel. But why? Why do all of this in the first place? Well, if you look on the internet, you'll see that there are a lot of theories, from ending the world to creating black holes to it already ended the world and we're living inside a black hole to paranormal activity to new dimensions to hooded figures performing rituals to summon the devil.
Yeah, we're gonna go over this one because this one right here feeds a lot of the conspiracy grifts that are out there. Enya, what's up? And hey, Furby, welcome, by the way. Enya, what's up? How you doing? Yeah, this is the funniest thing between this statue and this prank that's going on right here, I guess. That feels like 80% of the whole CERN conspiracy grift.
That last one was a prank, by the way. No, we are not doing any of that. The truth about what is happening here is both much harder to explain and much, much cooler. So strap in, because it's time to break your brain.
Do you guys remember that movie? What was it? The movie with I'm trying to think of the chick's name. She does a quite. No, she looks a lot like her. Julia Roberts, right? Hey, Jacob Castro, how you doing? She reminds me of Julia Roberts from some movie. I don't know, for some reason. I think when she was a hacker or something. I don't know, maybe not. Maybe it was a different movie. I'm probably getting actresses confused in my head. But she reminds me of Julia Roberts. Let's put it that way. Just pull this back.
When scientists much cooler. So strap in, because it's time to break your brain. When scientists smash these protons together, we get a glimpse at what might have happened close to the start of our universe, the Big Bang. That's because the collisions release an enormous amount of energy for how small protons are. But in the grand scheme of things, each collision is still less than the total energy of a hand clap. But a
Jacob,
very
what's up, buddy?
smart person figured out that energy and mass are related. So when these protons collide at incredibly fast speeds, releasing a ton of energy, that energy can turn into physical mass, which is crazy. And here's the kicker. If the energy is high enough, it can turn into mysterious or unknown particles, more of the building blocks of our universe, which we really want to know about to use that knowledge to improve the world today, or to just satisfy our own curiosity. But those special mystery particles, they only exist for an instant before they turn back into more everyday particles that we see all the time, that then fly outward towards sensors that record exactly where they hit. So what scientists actually see is more like a crime scene. They can see where the particles hit the sensors, but then they need to work backward using very complex physics to reverse engineer what happened at the moment of collision and what mystery particles could have been there. And if that sounds hard, yeah, you're right. But important.
We're not just doing this for fun, let's smash things together. We do like it. That's why. Well, we do it because we have huge, huge questions. The idea with particle physics is to try to understand the fabric of the universe. So, you divide something, you divide it again, until you finally get to something you can't divide anymore. The elementary
Micro.
That's what they're studying in these collisions. Elementary particles, the building blocks of our universe. We know a lot of them already. You might recognize some, like electrons or photons, which give us light. We know about all of these elementary particles thanks to brilliant people doing extremely complex math and decades of experimentation to prove that math actually predicts the real world. That math looks like this. This is a beautiful description of how we as humans think the world around us works. It's called the Standard Model.
we can understand a lot about our universe, where we came from, where we're going, what we're made of. It's pure research to try to understand our universe.
One reason that they wanted to build the Large Hadron Collider specifically is that the Standard Model predicted that there should be another particle, a mystery particle, likely present near the beginning of our universe, that no one had ever actually detected. They called it the Higgs boson, or more sensationally, the God particle.
All right, what she's not going to tell you right here, and what you're probably you're going to hear later, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you now, is that this is another one of those things where they've where the Grift will take it and run with it. The truth of the matter is that this is this God particle label they put on it. It doesn't have anything to do with God at all. And in fact, it was originally called the goddamn particle. All right, the goddamn particle, because it was so goddamn hard to find. That's literally the guy who found it called it the goddamn particle, not the God particle. They just shortened it so it would sound better. So yeah, there's a little bit of trivia for you.
The Standard Model seemed to suggest that this God particle was of vital importance to universal existence because, and here's where my brain starts to break a little bit, it would confirm the existence of an underlying field that gives other particles mass. In other words, this God particle would help us understand why everything you and I feel exists. Basically, why stuff exists was a big mystery, and this underlying field was our best mathematical explanation. And observing the Higgs boson, the particle related to this field, would help to prove it. The only problem was that to do that, we needed to get enough energy in one place to create it, like from smashing two protons together at nearly the speed of light. And that is one big reason to build the Large Hadron Collider. So they built it. And after they finished, thousands of scientists spent 2 more years collecting data at 2 different detectors until finally they were sure enough to announce to the world they did it. They reliably created the Higgs boson, something that no one had ever detected before, proving a truth about our universe that had before been a mystery. And that proof looked like this. Yep. It's a bump on a chart. Think about how much work went into seeing that bump on that chart. Like, that's it? Yeah, it's awesome. Through math, scientists predicted that if the Higgs boson exists, when we smash particles together, we should see a bump. And there it is.
There was literally a bump. There were more particles being produced at that energy.
The math was right. This confirmation didn't immediately change the world for people like you and me, but it showed us that as a species, we're on the right track. We're never going to know the impact of discovering any single building block of reality. When Sir Isaac Newton revealed the motion of our moon and our planets.
Hold on a second. I'll rewind that part. And yeah, no, they weren't trying to prove it was God. It's just that, like I said, they called it the God particle, but I mean, originally it was called the goddamn particle because it was so goddamn hard to find. So, I mean, think about it. She just said it in a nutshell. She said they had to do all this work to get this bump on the chart, right? To prove that it was there because they had mathematically theorized that it would be there. And if we did this, we could discover it, right? And what we're saying is that this goddamn particle gives other particles mass, right? So it would be a building block. Is the best way I could kind of translate it. So yeah, it's not necessarily they're looking for God, and that I think leads to a lot of the conspiracy grift. Is like, they're trying to open portals to different universes, trying to bring in demonic beings. They're trying to literally. Some people think that they're literally trying to bring like Lucifer or Satan through this portal, and we'll get into all that lore here in a minute. That's like that part of the conspiracy grift that's out there that people latch onto and live in fear over. But no, that's, like I said, the name itself throws people off. It's the goddamn particle, not the God particle.
Block of reality. When Sir Isaac Newton revealed the motion of our moon and our planets, he couldn't have possibly imagined there would be humans on the moon nearly 300 years later. The same is true of our discoveries today. That's the point of all of this. We discover the building blocks now so that our children can build with them later in ways that we can't possibly imagine.
I don't know
Generational
what
strategy.
Understanding the Higgs boson is really going to do to change the way that we live. But in 20, 30, 50 years, the better that we understand how these particles work, the more we can create technologies that change our lives.
And the Higgs boson was by no means the only thing the Large Hadron Collider has uncovered. It has shaped our understanding of the way that elementary particles interact and combine, and put our theories about the world to the test over and over and over again. But now, some scientists argue that we might have reached a limit on what we can learn from this collider. And there's still so much that we don't know about the universe. So, some scientists argue that now what we need to do is build a much, much bigger one. That's the big debate happening right now.
So how we haven't started, but hey, Evelyn Cox, how you doing? So they had the bigger one hasn't started yet. So if they actually were going to build that, I mean, how long do you think it would take to build that, the bigger one? I don't think it would take a long time. I mean, even with modern tech and so on, it seems like it would take a very long time to build that much bigger one. Right. My take. Let's see. In the Angels and Demons book, that is how they explained what a scientist at CERN was doing. And then they created antimatter that could blow everything up with this part. I know it's science fiction fear, man. I think that might be where a lot of people get some ideas about this too, or maybe were crafted, had a thought crafted by that influence. But yeah, this is what it really does.
There's things we're looking for. The big holes in our understanding of the universe. We have measured really clearly that there's something out there that only acts through gravitation as far as we can tell.
He's talking about dark matter.
Invisible matter would have been a better name. Doesn't matter. It doesn't, send anything out that we can see with our eyes, but it affects gravitationally and it makes a big difference.
We know this dark matter is there because it impacts things that we can see, like the way light visibly bends as it passes galaxies. Through those
I like the way you put that. Like, invisible matter is almost a better way to say it. Like, because when you think dark matter, you look out into space, you see darkness in between the light, and you think, well, that's where that dark matter is. It could literally be in any place, but it's micro, it's on a micro level that we can't visualize. I believe that's what he's trying to say. I think that's a better way to look at it. Of course, you can't see it.
Those effects that we can see, like the way light visibly bends as it passes galaxies. Through those effects, we can calculate dark matter accounts for 27% of our universe. Could a bigger collider help us learn about it? We don't really know.
Nobody is guaranteeing it will find dark matter. It might answer something completely different. It might pose new questions. Maybe we'll find something we had no idea was there. And we need to start working on it now.
Does it have a name? What?
It has a horrible name. It's a horrible name. It's called the FCC, the Future Circular Collider, which of course you have to change after you've built it.
CERN estimates that building this new collider would cost roughly $17 billion. And instead of a 27-kilometer loop, it would be 100. But not everyone thinks that this is worth it. They argue that the Large Hadron Collider has fallen short of what some hoped that it would achieve. On top of that, some predictions seem to suggest we'd need even more energy than this new, bigger collider would have in order to produce anything truly new. I think there's no need to overpromise. We don't really know, but that's not a reason not to try. The byproduct of all of the pure science done at CERN has already resulted in new therapies for cancer treatments, better medical imaging, more efficient electric cars, more sensitive radiation detectors that we now use in space, and my favorite, a new way for scientists to communicate, now called the World Wide Web.
That's right. The worldwide CERN was instrumental in the World Wide Web.
All of that and more came from work done at CERN.
I'll show you
We
the
don't know
wiki
what
page in a
we'll come
minute.
up with next. Just imagine for a second what we could do if we had a better, deeper understanding of what gives things mass. The future always sounds like sci-fi until we build it. And listen, I am not at all qualified to figure out if this specific collider is what we should build. And there are other ideas out there, like a muon collider and a linear collider. There's a proposal for a very powerful collider built in China. But we won't know what's possible without spending on this kind of pure research.
And what's embarrassing is for Europe, they still spend twice as much on defense. The US spends 10 times as much on defense. You can argue we need to do that right now, and that can very
So creation versus destruction right there.
well be true. But we need to get to a world that's better than that.
It would be reasonable to say, hey, maybe we should spend this money on other research that would apply more directly to improving people's lives right now, today. But is that a real choice?
That's a false choice. Fundamental research is essential to be able to do any of that applied research. It'd be like saying, okay, we're going to have universities and maybe secondary education, but we're going to cut out elementary school and no kindergarten. I feel that we're the kindergarten. We're the very, very basics. You have to have all of it.
We have come so far in our understanding of the universe, but there is so much left to learn. Like, what's all that extra stuff that we can't see? And where did we come from? And what's coming next? And I think most importantly, while we're here, what we spend our time on shows who we are. If aliens come to Earth one day and they look at what we have built, I would want them to see enormous monuments dedicated to knowledge. I would want them to understand through what we have built that we are a species who seeks to learn and tries to do better. And
It's funny. I never think about impressing aliens. Like, at least somebody is.
aches to find where we belong in a universe that we can barely understand. I would want them to see that, yes, we are limited, and yes, we have conflict, and yes, we can only glimpse such a tiny slice of the full scale of reality. But man, we try so hard. And that is something that we can all be very proud of, because the effort that we put in today can lead to a world we can't even imagine.
All right. There's the intro. Nice little tour of the facility. You meet some of the people there. You get to hear what their thoughts are on it, what their ambitions are. Yeah, it looks like a bunch of people just trying to open a portal to hell, doesn't it? I mean, you know, reality is can sometimes be like fiction, but most of the time it's not. All right. So now that you understand how it works, what it's supposed to be doing, quick history on it. And I don't even think that I feel like this history is a little bit dated. Let's see. I mean, it's not really, it's not dated, but I wonder when the last time this page was updated. I hate using Wiki as a source, but you know, for stuff like this, For stuff like this, I don't think that it's that big of a deal because you're just trying to look up facts, dates, things like that. So without getting into the grift aspect of it, I still just want to kind of like lay down the foundation here. And all right, so we know the name of it, we know where it was at. Let's see. You see, like it generally cuts off like about 5 years ago. So, and the reason why is I think it's been down. It's being upgraded right now. So I think it's supposed to come back online in like 26. I'm not 100% on that, but I think it's close, right? So if you look at the history of it, convention establishing CERN was ratified in 54 by 12 countries, right? And so that's a long time ago that they already had the knowledge and the understanding of what they were trying to go for and what they needed to do to build it. It's amazing by today's standards. That's why from time to time you'll see CERN goes offline, or they're not doing experiments. Basically, is what it is, and they do like 1-2 year upgrades, right? So it takes a lot of time to go through and upgrade everything the way they want to. But as far as scientific achievements go, just some, kind of a short list here, but discover of neutral currents and the Gargamelli bubble chamber. I don't know what that means. A lot of stuff I don't know what it means because I'm not a scientist, right? But one I wanted to point out was these are some of the scientific achievements. And where is it? Right here. I'll find it here. Hang tight. We're down to 89. Should have marked it. It's okay. There's this part in here about the internet, right? So what it did for the internet. Let me find it. Decommissioned accelerators. There's different ones they've had that's decommissioned. And also like within it as well. So and then the FCC, we heard about that. We're gonna get into the grifts here in a minute. Where did I see that? Maybe I missed it. Let me go back up. Let me go back up here. Thank you guys for being here tonight, man. I really appreciate it. If you're learning something, we're gonna get into the fun part, and then we're gonna do the Mandela effect here at the end of this, because evidently CERN is the reason the Mandela effect happened, because they're trying to open portals and they did something crazy and something dangerous came out of it. And man, when you see the grifts that go on with this thing, it's funny. They follow this pattern, and like I said, like one of the things we kind of look for when we're kind of deprogramming the grifts that are out there is like how much of it is just people being misled, or people being misled for profit, and how much of it is people being misled intentionally in order to have a chilling effect on people that are not buying into the establishment narrative, right? To make them seem crazy, to make them seem which literally this stuff, if you start to believe in, if you start to buy into the fear of the abyss, it will drive you crazy in a way. It could be in a major way, like somebody we were watching the other night completely losing their mind, thinking that we're smart, us like falling on them, and that that they had some kind of like that we were all under control, and I'm sure they would tell you that CERN was part of it. I mean, literally insane, thinking she's telepathic and talking to the Light Lord and stuff like that. Weird shit. But or just minorly crazy, like just like, okay, I'm living in this state of fear where I can't, where all this mysterious stuff's going on, and you're just kind of in this anxiety driven state of mind. Okay, let me see if let me focus real quick. It's right here. No, I'm seeing it. Grid computing, grids high. Okay, here it is, right here. I'm looking at it. All right. Computer science. CERN pioneered the introduction of the internet technologies beginning in the early 80s. So take that, Al Gore. This played an influential role in the adoption of the TCP/IP in Europe, the protocol. The World Wide Web, beginning as a project at CERN, initiated by Tom Berners-Lee, that dude, in 1989. This stems from his earlier work on a database named Inquire. Good name for database. Robert became involved in 1990. Berners-Lee and oh my God, Kailua were jointly honored by the Association of Computing Machinery in 1995 for the contribution to development of the World Wide Web. A copy of the original first web page created by Berners-Lee is still published on the World Wide Web Consortium's website as a historical document. Based on the concept of hypertext, the project, which is basically tag language, right? You put tags around things. You open the tag, you close the tag. It tells the computer what to do with it. The project was designed to facilitate the sharing of information between researchers. The first website was activated in 1991, and it was, of course, did not have the GUI interface there. That's when web browsers came in handy, but they were still coded in the same language, right? So on 30 April 1993, CERN announced that the World Wide Web would be free to anyone. It became the dominant way through which most users interact with the internet. More recently, CERN has become a facility for the development of grid computing, hosting projects including enabling grids for e-science, EGEE, and LHC computing grid, which also hosts the CERN Internet Exchange Point. One of the two main internet exchange points in Switzerland as of 2022, CERN employs 10 times more engineers and technicians than research physicists. Wow. Well, I imagine you would need to in a place like that. I mean, the mechanical operations daily, maintenance, checking out readings, things of that nature, just nonstop, especially when it's running. All right. So, is there anything about the decommissioned accelerators? Okay, so there you go. There's a little bit of the background on that, and let me show you real quick that to be a secret portal, to hell. They do a good job with their website. Trying to they put everything out there, man. So they're not doing a good job of hiding this if it's some kind of secretive thing, because they tell you everything that's in there, who's there, what they're doing, how to get there. All that stuff, kind of like HAARP, like when people think of HAARP, secret super weapon, right? And then you go and you see it, and you see people getting tours of it. And you know that it's really run by the University of Alaska now. It's not quite a super weapon anymore, is it? News. Let's see. This 2024 CMS experiment at CERN measures. Okay, so it seems like they are doing something there now. Of course, I don't know. There could be, you guys can go to this website, check it out if you want to dig into it more about what they're doing. I tend to trust that they're not trying to open a portal to hell or interdimensionally, just based on what it's doing and how it's built and its history. But if you need more dig down, go granular kind of knowledge, it's all right here. You can learn on their website, and you go to follow these resources right here. So there you go. All right, let's get into the grifty stuff. Let's get into the grifty. How you guys doing out there? If a collider explodes, will I get super speed like the Flash? Well, maybe if you're there, you guys see if they're hiring, man. Get over there to Switzerland, get yourself a job. All right. They probably pay pretty good. I mentioned it'd be a beautiful Switzerland. All right, so when you're doing research about CERN, right, and on the internet, you're going to come across a lot of stuff, man. But most of it is just like kind of like just like these videos, like they're either very fear born, or they're very like kind of like AI kind of driven, kind of like, I don't know, stuff, right? Which is wild because AI hasn't been driving videos and doing videos for that long. But it kind of like, okay, well, someone's like, man, people love this stuff. I'm gonna make a video about it and put all this creepy stuff in there, or I'm gonna lightly address the creepy stuff so I get clicks. There's a lot of clicking going on with this stuff. And it just proves that I'm in the wrong business, right? I should be a conspiracy grifter. But instead, I think it's more helpful for the future of all of us and the happiness of all of us to be the deprogrammer. So I'll just take that role on and do that. come hell or high water. So here's one channel I found, and the reason why I picked this video is because it kind of lines up all of the creepy and supposed creepy stuff that's going on there in a row. So it kind of just listed them out really nicely for us. I think this channel does try to grift a little bit off of it. I want a lot, but I don't know that there is. I don't know that they are. I think they're in the grifty more than just discrediting thing. You know. All right. Advancements of I see you. All right. Some people just aren't happy unless they have a boogeyman to worry about. Yeah, you know, and what I'm realizing too is that, especially after I watched that train wreck the other night of a chick that was just going off, is that it's also in the delusions that are compounding delusions, where they can build themselves up by feeling that they know something that other people don't. And in actuality, they're really just losing at life. They're having a hard time. They don't have an identity really. Like, you know, this chick basically, you know, was I guess an ex-stripper, had, you know, broken relationship after broken relationship. Definitely had a major drug habit at some point, if not still. You know, has these crusty dreads in her hair. She looks gross, and she just thinks that she's like praising Yahtzees, by the way, as well, like pulling out pictures, being like, "Oh, these people are awesome." And I'm sure when she pulled that out on her now ex-boyfriend, he was like, "What the hell? What in the world I get into?" That mask came off, and there was a Nazi under it. That's but also, like, you know, that means telepathy, and I know and you don't, you know, and there's smart dust everywhere, and there's chemtrails everywhere, and she believes in all this stuff, right? And she is just like completely whacked out by it. Nothing to go on, no concrete evidence of anything, right? She knows because she's psychic. She knows because the greater grifters have told her so, right? And that's kind of how it goes. There's a lot of psychosis involved in the deepest parts of the rabbit hole. You know, that's the dangers of going down the rabbit hole. Start trying to get people to kind of, hey, look, I've already learned this stuff for you, so you don't have to go down there. You know, you can kind of just skip through it. You can skip over it. I got you right here. And if you fell into it, here's a rope to climb out on. That's the thing. So let's learn 12 creepy things about CERN that will keep you up at night.
CERN is one of the most important scientific laboratories in the world.
It's funny because they come at you like, you know, this they come at you here with like this really kind of light approach to it. It's kind of funny given the name. Well, either that or like they attract them, and they also make them. Like, people can come out of, like, when you have your belief system crushed about, you know, the establishment narrative, right? When you've grown up believing that, you know, the world's basically an honest place, and then, you know, you're being told the truth by your politicians and media, and then you come into the understanding that that's not the case. It's very subversive. It's very agenda driven. You know, you're kind of in a place, right? I mean, we could probably all remember it ourselves, kind of in a place, and it kind of can really, really affect people in different ways. People like me, it makes very curious, and it makes me very driven to find the truth. And maybe that, you know, and I wasn't always, you know, this dedicated to it. I mean, it gradually got there as I started to realize that someone's got to figure this shit out. But then there's a whole bunch of people out there thinking they got it figured out. But if it's so truthful and so right, then why wouldn't people automatically gravitate to it when they found out the other narratives were wrong, right? There's something going on between here and there. That's what I came up with, this idea of the veils of perception and how they work. But you know, I don't think that everybody. I think they may be in a state of mental struggle if they're really bought into it. I don't, you know, and I think there definitely are plenty of mentally ill and emotionally damaged people that do have a tendency to fall for it. So yeah, I would agree on that. But I think ordinary people can fall for it for a minute as well. People that are stuck in the first veil won't even look. So they're just like, well, whatever, you know, which is, I guess, keeps them safe from the grift, but doesn't keep them open their eyes about the establishment narrative very well. See, because mental ill and emotional damage attracts mental ill and emotional damage. True. I mean, there's a lot of psychology involved in all this information warfare we talk about. There's a lot of psychology involved in the subversion aspects of it. I think we've constantly covered that. And of course, on Old School Watch Party Sundays, which are 8 p.m. Eastern on Sundays, we did we did the Century of the Self series, which has a playlist, by the way, on the Rumble page. Which I think it was 3 or 4 episodes, and man, that really dug into like where all that came from. But very much psychological approaches behind information, whether it's the establishment grift or it's the conspiracy grift. And I'm trying to hopefully find a way to bring people together that want to be outside the establishment narrative, but don't want to be into the conspiracy grift, right? They know better than to be into the conspiracy grift. That want to live in truth, that values the truth over being right. A lot of times these people that are into these conspiracy grifts, nah. It's like the chemtrail guy who blocked me without even like having a debate, or he puts chemtrail pictures up every day. And without having a debate about it, without watching the work that I put together, probably the work of anybody that ever put anything together about it, just blocked it out. Automatically blocked it out. They want to stay in that state of mind. And yeah, that is a form of mental illness. When you're no better off than the Democrat who won't look at the evils of their own party, or won't recognize the system's corrupt, or won't question authority on any level. They're in the same state, two sides of the same coin, first and second veil. Informational abuse comes in all forms. So yes, agreed there. You aren't putting together inside a well if you're arguing. I know, I'm doing a terrible job, right? But think about it. Think about this. I knew all this stuff. Like before I started this channel, I knew all this stuff. I could have very easily said, you know what? I can just grift people and work off the fear and probably my channel would probably blow up. It'd probably be like a lot of these other, I could do it in a supercharged level that would be like nobody's business, right? I could go out there, and then all the grift channels, all the people that are stuck in these grifts or think they got it all figured out and don't want to listen to anybody else, right? They'd all just follow. They don't follow along. They'd sub, they'd follow, they'd show up. I just confirm their bias every week, make tons of money. I talked to people about it before. I was like, as an experiment, I was wondering if I should start a second channel and do just that. But the person inside of me, who I am, won't let me do it because I know that I'm going to be causing harm by doing it. But just to compare the two, like when someone's actually trying to get the truth out there, how hard it is versus someone who's actually trying to grift people's fears, right? I'd have all kinds of things going on because I understand where people get their root, their foundation for these grifts, right? So then I can just build off of them, like we saw with the super soldier program that Drake and all those guys are into now. That's Drake Bailey, original QAnon, original Q, to be specific. What he's doing now, and like how that whole UFO alien rabbit hole leads people all the way down to like that kind of thing. Where how do these people get together and they grift together, right? They're all building off each other's stories, right? So now it's gotten down to super soldiers where you have these people that are basically virtually handicapped talking about like using their minds to blow up planets. Come on now. It's like you can kick it that far. Money is everything. Money is everything to the wrong people. What are we talking about? Oh yeah, I get you. Well, money isn't everything. Well, some power too. I think power is more important than money because once you have power, you can get all the money you want. All right, so let's get back to this. Here we go. 12 creepy things that you can be grifted on easily about CERN.
It is home to the Large Hadron Collider, the largest and most powerful particle accelerator ever built. CERN has made many important discoveries, but it has also been the source of some strange and creepy stories. Welcome back to Factnominal. In this video, we will take a look at 10 creepy things about CERN that will keep you up at night.
Hold on. The title says 12 creepy things. I'm already being grifted here. You promised me, you said 12, now you're saying 10. I don't know. Maybe they had to cut a couple of them out. Get your title right. All right, let's go.
Number 12.
Oh, this is 12. It's back to 12. Okay. The Large Hadron Collider portal to another dimension. Hang on, guys. It's scary.
One of the most common theories about CERN is that the Large Hadron Collider is a portal to another dimension or a
Yes.
parallel universe.
Mhm.
This theory is based on the fact that the LHC creates incredibly high energy collisions, which could theoretically open up a wormhole or tear in the fabric of spacetime.
Okay, well, I don't know which theory that is. Like, like when people say theoretically, that can mean anything, right? It's like calling yourself a consultant. You can be a consultant on anything. Yeah, I'm a consultant. And what do you consult on? Consulting. I'm a consultant, right? That's something I learned about a long time ago. You can you can call yourself a consultant for anything. So no limitations on it. Theoretically speaking, I don't understand where they can get this theoretical that it's going to rip open, wormholes or black holes, unless they're very micro. Like we wouldn't even notice them; they're so small. I don't know. I don't know where people got that theory from. Maybe
There's
I'm
no
just
scientific evidence.
maybe I'm just not that up on these type of topics here.
Wormhole or tear in the fabric of spacetime.
There
There is no scientific evidence to support this theory. Some people believe that the LHC is being used to open up a portal to hell, while others believe that it is being used to contact aliens.
Yes,
No.
because they're not already here. It's like, what do you? Okay, let me take a look. I'll take a look at that MLS. Nice, I love that. Thanks, man. I'm gonna save it. Awesome. You're living here, paying taxes and living in fear. I love it. Okay, so yeah, portal to hell. Portal to hell. Portal to hell.
Number 11.
Hold on.
Used to open up a portal to hell,
Is
while
that it?
others believe that it is being used to contact aliens.
Okay, yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, contact aliens. Now, who believes they're using it to contact aliens? But the aliens are now. These are people who don't think aliens are already here. It's just people who think that there's transdimensional aliens. Like it just kind of gets floated out there. But when you'll hear someone say, "Yeah," and they're using it to talk to aliens. Okay, well, I mean, you can drill down on that, and they're probably gonna be like, "Oh, I don't know. They're just using it because they use it because it opens a wormhole, and you can they'll try to reason it without any real facts or ever really even hearing it before. This is why I think that AI is so fascinating, and as much as people fear it and have concerns about it, rightfully so, but it teaches us so much about our own brain, right? How we transform content that we absorb in our brain and come up with stuff, and how we fill in the gaps when we don't know. And that's going to be a big theme tonight, because with the Mandela effect, that's exactly what's going on in a lot of ways, right? So we're filling in memory gaps, we're filling in gaps of information, we're trying to make things work. And then we think, yeah, that's how it works. But we have to realize these belief systems can't be, they're just theoretical, right? Not to drill them into your firm belief systems that are basically the structure of your reality, right? So, and just to keep it on the theoretical level. Well, maybe they are, right? Or maybe it could happen. I don't know. You don't know. Then you talk to a guy that knows science someday, one way down the road, and you ask him, he goes, "No, they couldn't happen. Here's why." And then he blows your mind with all the knowledge that he's put his time and effort into learning.
Number 11. The Higgs boson is a subatomic particle that gives other particles their mass. It is thought to be the last piece of the puzzle in the standard model of particle physics. The Higgs boson was first proposed in 1964 by Peter Higgs and other physicists. It was finally discovered in 2012 at CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research.
Called him Higgy for
The
short.
Higgs boson is a very important particle. It is thought to be the glue that holds the universe together. Without the Higgs boson, there would be no mass, and the universe would be a very different place. The name God particle was given to the Higgs boson by the media. It is a catchy name, but it is also a bit misleading. The Higgs boson is not a god, and it does not explain everything about the universe. Number 10. Some people, including physicists and futurists, believe that CERN is creating a super intelligent AI.
Yeah, because you need a super hydrogen collider to do that. You don't just need like a quantum computer or anything like that. You need to have a giant tunnel, miles and miles and miles long, slamming particles into each other in order to create a super AI computer. I haven't heard anybody talk about this, but I'm sure there's people out there that think that's so. That this point, I'm watching this video right when I'm reviewing it for the show, and I'm like, well, you know, it has this 10 creepiest things about CERN that keep you up at night, catchy little clickbaity title, but then as you listen to the guy, it doesn't really get into it. It's kind of like almost debunking a little bit at the same time. So I don't know if they are just trying to be clever. It's a clever way to get people to watch the information and come out of it with a different feeling about it. I don't know if they're just being clever or not, but at some points you think that they are, and some points you think they're grifting. It's just, hey, well, they're getting clicks for it. I guess they are grifting it in some way, right?
They believe that the LHC is being used to create a computer that is smarter than humans, and that it will eventually become self-aware. Some people believe that a super intelligent AI could be a good thing.
Like, when was this made? This was made 10 months ago.
While others believe that it could pose a threat to humanity. Number 9.
That's just basically taking the standard AI fear and just putting it on CERN. Hold on. Am I not showing this? God dang it. Did you miss that last part? Where did I mess up? Have I shown any of this? Because I've been looking at my other screen the whole time like a Skynet. Help me out, crowd. What do I need to go back to? I know you guys missed something. Did I show the video at all? I'm looking at you, chat. Help me out. Help me. Oh man. Hold on. Or did I just I'm not gonna find it myself. Okay. Maybe I didn't miss anything. I thought I'd missed it because like all of a sudden I was up there and the screen was not. Yes, you did. You're all right. Okay, I did. I'm all right. Okay. All right. So this one right here, the statue of Shiva at CERN. This is one of the major ones that kind of, like I said, the statue and these other ceremonies that happened around CERN in Switzerland, and of course the little fake thing they did as a joke, right? After people had already started talking about this statue right here. Now this is dancing Shiva, right? And it was a gift from India to the people at CERN because they're part of the working on it as well. And it's basically supposed to we're going to get into like what it means, like they're going to explain it to you, but people believe that the statue is like, and people who I guess don't know how to look things up believe the statue is, Shiva is the destructor of worlds, right? So it's supposed to be destruction coming through you can see the circle right there. Instead of representing the universe of the earth, right? In their minds, it's the portal that the demons coming through to destroy us all. So that's where a lot of people get that idea from. But actually, the facility was built, and this was not there. This was actually gifted to them by India. So,
on the campus of CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research, stands a statue of the Hindu god Shiva, the cosmic dancer and destroyer of worlds. It was a gift from India, symbolizing Shiva's cosmic dance of creation and destruction. However, some people have expressed concern that the statue is a sign of occult activity at CERN.
Okay, so this is the grifty part, right? And I'm going to stop and kind of point these out as we go. This is the grifty part, is where they'll show you something like this and give you that line, right? But this was all a fake. Right? This was a fake. It was, and you can see it's at night. There's nobody else there. So it's not some kind of grand ceremony. It's supposedly like, 5 or 6 people that come up to the facility and do this weird thing in front of this Buddhist statue, or, Shiva's Hindu, right? Hindu statue.
They point to the fact that Shiva is also known as the destroyer of worlds, and they are worried that CERN is conducting experiments that could have disastrous consequences. CERN has denied these claims, stating that the statue is simply a symbol of peace and understanding. Despite these assurances, some people remain skeptical about CERN's motives. They believe that the statue of Shiva is a warning sign, and that CERN
why would you put a warning sign out in front of your secret portal to hell? I mean, come on. Does that make sense? I mean, are we supposed to just believe that all these people, these mad scientists, these satanic, cultic, mad scientists are just super brilliant enough to build something like this and have it in operation and get funding for it for decades, but not smart enough to not put a big warning sign out in front of it about what they're doing? It's so funny.
CERN is playing with forces that they do not understand.
They're playing with forces that the person who thinks that doesn't understand. The people that are playing with the forces do understand what they're playing with. But it's not really forces, it's just science, right? They're trying to figure out what the heck's going on here.
8.
Uh-oh.
Some people believe that CERN is causing the apocalypse. They believe that the LHC is creating mini black holes, earthquakes, and new forms of matter that will eventually destroy the universe. Some people believe that the apocalypse is already happening, and that CERN is simply speeding up the process. 7.
The apocalypse. What apocalypse? I mean, when they say that, again, it's just this generalized term, the apocalypse. What are we talking about? Revelations? Are we talking about, what apocalypse are we talking about? Because there's a lot of different ones that are out there, like, that people theorize about and or predict or whatever. There's a lot of it, right? There's man-made apocalypse, there's God-made apocalypse, all kinds of things, right? So I just don't get it. Again, that kind of that's the jump that the leap people take when they kind of buy into this, is that they'll just take that term and they'll use it. They'll never stop to think about what the term means, right? So when you're debunking, deprogramming, discerning information, the words matter, and you need to understand how they're used and what they truly are meaning and what they're trying to be conveyed by the source that you're listening to. And if it's just fluffed over like that, don't give it any credit. Don't give it any mind, because they can't define it. It's like, okay, that's a check on the bad side as far as whether this is good information or not. That goes on the bad side, right? So, okay, I haven't heard anybody say anything about the apocalypse and the CERN, but I mean, maybe a little bit. Some of this kind of blends across different types of conspiracy grifters. Like there's the very religious conspiracy grifters, and there's the very anarcho kind of like conspiracy grifters that are out there. It just depends on what line of grift you come from. So here we go. And this is a perfect example right here. CERN is creating a new world order. So you need a hydro collider to do that.
Some people believe that CERN is creating a new world order. They believe that the LHC is being used to control the population, and that it is part of a larger plan to create a one world government.
Yes, I think this is what Crazy Trainwreck Dread Girl was talking about the other night, when she was talking about like the smart dust. And I guess they during the eclipse, of course, the 2-minute eclipse, right? According to her, they sprayed smart dust all over us, and they were going to use, I guess, CERN and HAARP to control our minds. And she's got it all figured out because she's, right hand to the Light Lord, who's evidently a very, very powerful person that they illuminated. And I think she did say Illuminati. I think she did say it was the Illuminati. And what was the other thing she was saying? Well, what I couldn't figure out is like, if we are well connected to all these things and you have a royal bloodline, it's like, why are you so poor and desperate? I don't know.
Some people believe that the New World Order is already here, and that CERN is simply enforcing it.
Again, there's just people who don't know what the New World Order is or how to use those words correctly, right? There's always some group trying to bring about a new world order. I mean, that's the thing, because there's always an existing order, right? So it's just kind of circular, and there could be multiple people at the same time with different ideas about a new order in the world that are fighting for their particular flavor of the new order of the world, right? But that term gets flopped around a lot and attached to things, like it's being attached to here, right? So this super collider is somehow involved in politics, evidently, and finance.
6. There have been a number of small earthquakes near CERN in recent years. Some people believe that these earthquakes are caused by the Large Hadron Collider.
And others believe that's caused by HAARP, and then others believe that they're working HAARP, which we learned about last week and learned how like not really super powerful it is, and how these two are working together. So that's how the HAARP CERN connection usually gets put together. It has to do with the mind control aspect of it, right? And also the weather manipulation aspect of it.
Some people believe that CERN is using the LHC to cause earthquakes as a way of controlling the population. Number 5.
Yeah, they blended a bunch of conspiracies all together in one right there.
In 2015, scientists at CERN announced that they had created a new form of matter. This matter is called a quark-gluon plasma, and it is thought to have existed in the universe just a few microseconds after the Big Bang. The creation of quark-gluon plasma is a major scientific breakthrough, but it is also a bit creepy. Quark-gluon plasma is incredibly hot and dense, and it is thought to be unstable. This means that it could potentially destroy the universe.
Big old giant assumption there, giant leap there going on. I don't hear this one, like, believe me, people that buy into the CERN conspiracy grift do not probably even know that this quark-gluon plasma thing exists. I don't hear that one very much, but I'm sure if they hear they've created some kind of matter that could blow up the universe, that's good enough for the confirmation.
Number 4.
That's evil. Oh, the cryptic
CERN's
logo
is a stylized representation of particle tracks, but some people believe that it bears an eerie resemblance to the number 666, the mark of the beast.
Of course it does.
This is, of course, just a coincidence, but
because they just advertise exactly what they're all about. They got the statue of, we're bringing doom to the world outside, because everybody in there, from all over the world, all these tens of thousands of people that work there, they all want the world to end. They're all in on it, right? They're all in on it. No matter what country you are, what you look like, where you came from, what you do. If you're working at CERN, you're working to destroy the entire world. How about that?
It is a creepy one that has fueled speculation about the nature of CERN's work. The logo was designed by a British graphic designer named Marguerite Bourquin.
Don't go giving us facts. We want to see 666 in this, man. It confirms the bias. We have to. Hold on. Well, okay, let's figure it out.
Who was inspired by the tracks left by particles in a cloud chamber. The logo was first used in 1954, and it has remained largely unchanged ever since. Number 3. Neutrinos are subatomic particles that are so ghostly that they can pass through normal matter unaffected. They were first proposed at CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research, and their mysterious behavior continues to spook scientists. Neutrinos are produced in nuclear reactions such as those that occur in the sun and stars. They are also produced by the decay of radioactive elements. Neutrinos are very weakly interacting, which means that they can pass through most matter without being absorbed. This makes them very difficult to detect. The only way to do so is to use large detectors that can capture the tiny amount of energy that neutrinos deposit when they interact with matter. Neutrinos are very important for understanding the universe. They can be used to study the sun and stars, and they can also be used to search for dark matter. Who knew the universe was haunted by its very own particles? Number 2. Antimatter is the mirror twin of matter. It has the same mass as matter, but opposite electric charge. When antimatter and matter come into contact, they annihilate each other, releasing a burst of energy. CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research, has produced and captured antimatter. This is a major achievement as it paves the way for new scientific discoveries. Antimatter could be used to create new types of fuels and propulsion systems. It can also be used to create new medical treatments. However, antimatter is also a potential weapon. If it were to fall into the wrong hands, it could be used to create devastating weapons.
Launch the antimatter device.
CERN is taking steps to ensure that antimatter is handled safely.
That's good.
Number 1.
That's good for a bunch of portal to hell people.
Another common theory about CERN is that the Large Hadron Collider is creating mini black holes.
Oh,
This
yeah.
theory is based on the fact that the LHC creates incredibly high energy collisions, which could theoretically create black holes that are smaller than atoms.
Theoretically speaking.
There is no scientific evidence to support this theory either, but it is a popular one among physicists. Some physicists believe that many black holes are harmless, while others believe that they could pose a threat to the universe. So, should we be scared of CERN and all it entails? Comment below your concerns about CERN. Thank you for watching Fact.
If you're concerned about CERN, please comment below. Yeah, so that was kind of a light one, right? And like, you know, you're kind of in and out of, it seems explanation wise, but it's also they skip over things in it. Maybe there's kind of like taking the side of the grift. I don't know. This is another one from the same channel, but I just want to show you like the entrance part of this, right? I want to show you like the opening parts. Because in the same channel we'll put out, we're talking about grifts here. It really is what we're doing, because we already learned what CERN really does. So we're really just talking about the grifts, and we're talking about things that come off of it, other different theories. You can see like it's really not. That's why I can do two topics tonight, because it's really not that hard to debunk this once you just look at it. Once you just step outside of the abyss and look back, you can clearly see, you know, how you're getting taken if you're falling for this, and what it really is, and that, you know, inconsequential to the fact that, you know, there's a large organization trying to change your way of life and trying to change the way the world works right now, that's out in the open doing it. We know them, the UNWF, the Agenda 2030 that's in front of us, and their agendas beyond, right? They meet many times a year. They have big conferences. They tell you exactly what they're going to do to you. They put it on their website. They tell you when they're going to get it done. They even tell you the people are going to do it to you, how they're going to get these people, their groomed leadership into, their groomed leaders of the future into leadership and power positions in order to push this agenda forward. I mean, you couldn't have a better conspiracy to fight against than that. But yet there's people that are convinced that, you know, don't you know what I'm talking about when I talk about like how you live in fear, you stay on defense, you live in fear and you just quit. That's what the problem is with the people that are buying into these type of deep, dark rabbit hole conspiracies like these, is that they're just like Dreadlock Girl. They're just done, right? They're cooked, right? They're pointless. They're useless to any resistance to the evil that's truly coming after us. The reality altering agenda that's truly being implemented and is right in front of our face, and no one's hiding, right? They're helpless to fight that battle, but they'll tell you that, you know, there's a portal to hell opening up, and that they're going to use smart dust to control your minds with HAARP and chemtrails. I mean, does that help? Does that help us stop the inevitable doom? I don't think it does. I don't think it does. And if they really thought about it, they could think, well, you know what? If we got back control of our government, and got corruption out of our society, maybe we'll learn about these things for real, right? Well, we wouldn't, because they're not real. But at least at that point, when you don't feel like people are after you, or some impending doom is coming, right? You may not feel that scared about things like CERN or HAARP, that are just there's big science facilities, right, used for scientific experimentation. Like the geoengineering are cut in half. That's one thing that we know that exists, right? And then you have the grift attached to it, which is chemtrails, right, which makes you insane. So you will never be successful pushing that back against geoengineering if you have an issue with that, which you legitimately could. Cloud seeding, or, you know, we saw the plane, we saw the pilot interview, we saw the real thing in the deprogramming the chemtrail grift episode. We saw all that, right? But you're never going to get to that real point where you're going to be effective, because you're going to think that every airliner in the world that flies to 100% or more saturation and leaves a trail behind them is actually some kind of bug spray, right? Some kind of spray on you, some kind of like geoengineering itself, because you can't have a reasonable conversation at that point. That's why I say I think some of these grifts seem very intentional. Like if you wanted geoengineering to be a thing and you really wanted to push it, and you're going to make a bunch of money off of it, you know, and you see people that can't understand it, you can push this grift out about chemtrails, and you know, most of the people are going to push back against you on the geoengineering are going to sound like lunatics. So you can actually push that through without, what does this chemtrail conspiracy chewing on? You know, CERN, HAARP, you just run down the list. they're discredited. The argument's discredited. Not anybody that tries to speak out against something like geoengineering is now looped in with all these crazy folks, and we ain't listening to them. So I think that works effectively as well. If you wanted to profit, benefit, normalize geoengineering or weather manipulation in a sense, because now you say, well, any pushback against it's coming from the chemtrail people, and they're all crazy. Well, they wouldn't be wrong, but it runs cover. It runs cover. So that's why you have to be careful about what you dive into, what you put your name on. When you put it out there in the world, you put your name on it. I put my name on these streams. I put my name on the things that, well, winning reality, right? That's what the channel is about. That's the channel name. The channel name is on it. But that's who it is. And it's like, my reputation and everything like that goes on to my work, right? That's what I'm saying. And that's true for each and every one of us. So, when you do sign up to believe for a belief system, make sure that it's worth believing in, because you're going to be attached to it. All right. So I'm just going to show you the beginning of this. Same channel, different approach. CERN scientists, quote, open portal to another dimension, unquote. Right? Anonymous source, says this is what they're trying to get your brain to read. Now let's look at the beginning of this real quick.
Scientists at the European Organization for Nuclear Research, or CERN, as it's better known, have discovered a way to open up an interdimensional portal. CERN's
okay, right there. That's the opening. And he does all the things that we already know. Right? And this guy looks like he's AI. So this channel is using AI to grift. And what they're doing is they're reinforcing a false belief system. Oh, hold on. I didn't even show it. All right, guys, keep me on track. Here we go.
Scientists at the European Organization
for
Nuclear
Research, or CERN,
as it's better known, have discovered a way to open up an interdimensional portal. CERN's scientific...
Okay, that's not true. But this guy looks like AI, right? He's got his hands all right there. If this is your channel and you're actually doing this, shame on you. But I think this guy's AI. Looks like he is to me.
Discoveries are yet again turning everything we thought we knew about the universe on its head. Changing the fields of physics and astronomy as we know it.
We just had collisions at an unprecedented energy, 13.6 tera electron volt. And this opens a new era of exploration at CERN.
Okay, stop. See how they cut that off? You can't quite get a grasp of what they're talking about there. So they use a sound bite in order to hold up their false premise from the title in the beginning that they're opening an interdimensional portal. It's not the truth. There's no interdimensional portal happening, but this reinforces the grift. So that's the part of that I wanted to show you. I'm going to remember not to start it next time without showing the screen. All right. So, okay. So attached to that, I remember I told you about the statue, right? The statue of Shiva and then the fake little ceremony they had out there, where a lot of times you'll see from these, we're not playing all these. I'm just going to show you, I'm going to show you these, just to kind of like give you an idea of how the grift is working on people, right? So how they come to their conclusions about this. So let me start right here. Okay, so Switzerland's a kind of a weird place, right? And I don't understand why they need to do these things, but maybe there's just a bunch of weird people there. I don't know. However, this I'll show you this channel real quick. This is a Jesus channel, staying focused for Jesus, right? And so this is like a lot of times I told you, remember from way back, I told you like, there's a lot of conspiracy grifts that come out of like religious groups. So here we go. There's one of them right here. So anything with portals, satanic stuff, blah, 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 there's going to be a Christian grift side to it, if you will, like using Christianity to grift the conspiracy, to build fear, to maybe attract more, to make more money or attract more people in a very false and dangerous and uncool way to religion, right? And it's like, that's not the way to get people to religion, by creating fake fears about things, right? So that would be unchristian of them to do that. So 7 years ago, and that's about when these little ceremonies were popular, right? That repopularized the idea that CERN was a portal to hell to bring about the apocalypse and the revelations, is really what they're talking. I think they were talking about, and so I want to show you some of these ceremonies. Right now, the one that people they think that these I'm about to show you are the one that I showed you earlier, where the people were there at night. It was just like 5 of them, and that was a joke. They were intentionally doing this. They made it look like they were filming from a distance to capture the satanic ritual in the middle of the night that no one else was watching for some reason. But then you have this real public version of it, right? So this is kind of like a little bit of bonus knowledge here, and debunking, right? And like people will confuse what they see here with that little hidden ceremony there and the news about that, right? Because it was put out as a fake, but people bought into it, and it was basically to troll the people who thought CERN was a portal to hell, and that Shiva was some kind of like representation of Lucifer coming through the portal to destroy us all, right? Like anybody would want that. Jesus Christ. Look at this. This is so weird. The Swiss are weird people. Why are they doing this? I don't know. I'm gonna speed it up. They act like they're workers coming into something, right? And what this is a tunnel opening, the world's longest tunnel in Switzerland, but it's near CERN, so they throw CERN in on it. The satanic tunnel ritual calling for Lucifer. Let's be fast. You see all these people watching from the side, right? So there's a lot of people there to see it. It's weird. It gets a lot weirder. And these are the people we got to worry about right here. Look, they're coming for you. Pretty good for a drummer. Look at this. They're all climbing up a ladder. It's so weird. It gets weirder. Yay! Man, it's some weird tunnel workers going on here. Oh, it gets even weirder. People in underwear. Who comes up with this shit? I mean, okay, look, we're gonna have them come in on a rail trail. They're all gonna be in their underwear, and they're gonna whip around these little towels. Woo! You went in for a bite. What in the hell? I got the guy. Jesus Christ. Hold on. You guys remember that one? What was it called? That the guy used to do drums on everything, and they'd have like the buckets, and they had like the steel things. What was it called? I can't remember it, but there was this one dude who would play drums, or there's a troupe of people that would play drums on everything, and they would come up with these really cool drum patterns, and they would like do it on like stuff like this. Ugh, I'm angry. That's it. Push it away. Now, what is this? This is like the Slee Stacks or whatever. Slee Stack alert. They're giggling. I don't get it. Can you imagine a rehearsal for this? Like, stomp. Yes, thank you. Stomp. That was it. Can you imagine rehearsing for this? And they're like, no. I need more. I need you to wiggle more on the ground with when you're wearing the Slee Stack outfit, please. Oh, here we go. No. Yeah, look at that. The ram's head right there. And then this guy's looks like he's wearing some goat leggings. it just gets weirder and weirder. Trust me. I guess. Yeah, keep on. Bah, bah, bah. Whee! Oh, would you like to dance with me? I mean, are these people here that are sitting here, are they entertained and like, are they happy about what they're seeing? I can't imagine going to something like that, and being like, what's this going to be about? It's going to opening ceremony for the tunnel. Okay. And then you see this weirdness happen. And I mean, they don't look like they're all wearing ties and suits. I guess they're executives that work at the company that's doing this. And I don't know. I would be like, how much we spend on this shit? Fire the guy. Fire the guy who came up with it. Ooh, spooky. Now they got the screen in the background, right? All the big old eyeball. Hey, we're flying. We're flying. Now suddenly we're outside, and I think this is a different one, right? I think that this dude put it together, but this is the inside ceremony, and suddenly we're outside. So I don't really get that.
What we are seeing is the all-seeing eye and 3 unclaimed spirits. This could represent the Celtic or Celtic spiral, which ties into a triune being, or what is known as the triple goddess.
Okay, you're guessing. All right, I don't like guessing. So let's watch some more here. Yeah, actually put that on the back of a band shirt one time. So shame on me. I guess I was
because of what happens next.
Oh my God!
A lowercase g god will be mating with a daughter of man to produce a child, just like in Genesis.
Ah, okay. Well, it's the same people though. I guess they moved outside. I don't know how this happened. I mean, this is like Euro weird, right? Right, Furby? This is like Euro weird. You know what I'm talking about? Like really Euro weird. It's Euro weird. Where's the baker when you need him? Satan will roar, and they will scatter to make way for what is about to happen next. Okay. There's a train. I mean, but the thing about it is this clearly isn't at CERN, right? It's clearly not at CERN. So they're trying to take some Euro weirdness here, right? At least it's not Japan weird. I don't know. We haven't got to the end. Tentacles could be coming. If it was approved by CERN, I would still like to know why they are fine with this weird ass shit. Yeah, but it's not. But it's like the tunnel company near it. I don't get it either. Like that part's strange to me. Like why people are entertained by this nonsense. But again, it's not attached to CERN unless somebody puts the name in the title and tells you it is. And then someone will, half-assedly click into this. Click around and be like, oh, God, it's true. Look at all this devil stuff there. I saw devil stuff at CERN. They're doing a big old ceremony out in front of it. The science has its cults. Yeah, cults are everywhere. There he is. I mean, the guy's not lying about the what they're doing, I guess. I mean, it's definitely demonic and weird, and it doesn't have any meaning. I guess I could look into it more about what they're trying to do with this, but it's just so stupid. I mean, I don't understand companies that put on stuff like this and actually get away. I mean, if I found out somebody at my company spent money on this shit, yeah, they would. They're the ones who would be getting screwed on stage by the devil, not somebody else. I mean, they would be out the door so fast, you wouldn't believe it. I mean, having making apologies to everybody. So sorry about that. Switzerland, what are you doing? Okay, everybody in time now. Just doing my job.
What you will now see is Satan having sex with a woman. This is
All right.
obvious from the sounds and what is going on.
All right,
This
let's
is why I
see it.
stated I believe it points more to the triple strand DNA.
Oh, triple strand. Okay.
All right, now the beast and the woman have become one. The seed of the beast is in the woman's womb, as you will see, and she is going to give birth to the man of sin,
All right.
the Antichrist.
Let's see it.
I know it's crazy.
I know. There they are. This is so weird. Good. The creatures are celebrating. Spirits will now worship him. Now you see the unholy child, man of sin, son of perdition. Do, 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 do. Why is my head so big? That reminds me of where the Wild Things room. That is that what it's called? Where the Wild Things room? Bird. She's got a bird nest in her head. A lot of sticky stuff here. A lot of sticks in nature, paganish stuff. We love our branches and pagans. Pagans love branches. They love them. They love them. All right.
I believe the two women are supposed to represent the two witnesses.
So yeah, I won't go on too much longer with this thing. Yeah, so you see all this stuff from the beginning, the people in their underwear. Like, here we go. They do the same thing outside. So it's like you saw what they did in the tunnel. They're just doing it again outside. So it's almost like this dude has gotten, taken 2 or 3 different things and put it together. It's the biggest point. I mean, granted, this is weird stuff that I would be really mad about if someone had spent my company's money on this. And this is just another version of this. So we saw the same thing just without the commentary. And then you see people, I guess that come from different countries to see it. I'm showing this. Okay. Yeah. Let's big screen it. So I just don't figure out, did they start outside and then move in? Oh, here we go. This is the whole ceremony, like start to finish. I can't translate this, or even understand it. But anyways, let's see if this guy talks English. Can I get a translator, please? Where the wild things are. Thank you, HP. All right, I don't have any idea what you're saying, dude. So yeah, here they go. I guess they're explaining why they've spent money on such a weird thing. And there's the tunnel. So yeah, not CERN. No. But why would they go through all this trouble just to do this? The CERN cult looks like fun, right? Yeah, so anyways, so there's the tunnel. That's what I wanted to show you on here. And then, here's all the people walking in. They got a horse. They got horses. Yeah. All this stuff. All the players. The underwear players, the bushy people. And of course, Ram Boy. Yeah. So there you go. Good stuff, right? But you know what? If you're going to make a conspiracy grift, at least make it accurate. I mean, this one's called Uncut Occult Ceremony at Opening of World's Largest Tunnel near CERN. So if this is near CERN, it's part of CERN now, right? not the opening ceremony at CERN. They use a satanic ritual. That's the grift you'll hear. That's the convolution you'll hear from most of the conspiracy grifters that believe CERN is some kind of portal to hell. And onward. And I talked about the Christian conspiracy groups that come out, you know, like John Todd and the old cults, right? That would talk about New World Order and Illuminati and all, just making shit up as he goes along to get people to join his cult, right? Seventh vital 1, 2, 3. This seems like another one to me. And so I put this in the category of, let me just show you what are some of the grifts that people buy into out there. So they'll come across this content and they'll hear this guy preaching.
Hawking has come straight out and said
about the end
the God particle, and this is what you've heard referred to time and again as the Higgs boson particle. The God particle found by CERN could destroy the universe.
No, the goddamn particle found at CERN, the Higgs particle in it, is actually the foundation of what builds the universe, not destroys it. But here he is sitting up there in a pulpit, speaking out of it. He might as well have his pants down and have his ass up on the fucking, up near the mic and just be talking right out of it, because that's what he's doing, you know? And to get up there in a room where you're trusted as a leader, as a trusted source, and just talk out of your ass and just lie. You better know. Look, I had a friend a long time ago that said something to me back when I was in my early 20s, and it stuck with me, and I really did appreciate it. He said, "You know, if I open my mouth, I try to make damn sure that I'm right." And I've lived by that, you know, since. I thought that's a good way of putting it. And you really should be damn sure you're as close to being right as you possibly can before you open your mouth, especially in public, especially to a group of people, because you're responsible for what you put out. You're responsible for what you may influence, what you may subvert, what you may enhance, any of that, good, bad, whatever. So, you know, the irresponsibility of people is astounding, and they're very selfish in thinking that it doesn't have any effect on anybody else. You send one person home from this congregation thinking that the world and CERN is the root of all evil. They're gonna believe you, and they're gonna end up in the bottom of this rabbit hole, believing all kinds of other bullshit that confirms their bias. And all these rabbit holes, all this line of topics, the chemtrails to HAARP to CERN, they all confirm the bias. So then you have somebody that's completely like wrapped up in it, and you've set them on that path because they trusted you. That's the problem. And so you go on and on and on. Here they're going to talk about, I mean, come on, dude. This is the videos you're making. This is like
the reality of it. Something was going on inside there.
1 million views. 1 million views, 23,000 subscribers. It's 9 years ago, so I guess he's had a while to get to 1 million views. This is crap.
Further. Demons, all this other stuff, probably couldn't care less whether you've got matter or antimatter. It's a spirit being. But to fit into the great deception that's coming, and it's about here right now. I mean, a deception like this world has never known before. To fit into this great deception, they can sure draw these men in to make them think that because they have reached this certain point in their scientific analysis, that they're bringing in these spirit beings to make true believers out of them. NASA said just a few days ago, just a few days ago, that by the year 2020, that we will definitely come in contact with aliens.
Oh, a little late there. A little late. But you told everybody in your congregation to believe that, didn't you? He also said false prophets will come too. How about that? There's something in here I saw. Oh, was that an asteroid coming towards us? Doomsday. What's this thing right here? Oh, there we go. So they're having like this, you know, they're showing this, I guess it's opening or some kind of thing going, some kind of event going on at CERN. I guess it's supposed to mean something, but a lot of times people will take this image right here and conflate it with the tunnel ceremony thing too. I've seen that before. Who's this guy? So you can just scroll through this. like I said, I'm not going to play all of it, but they just go through a bunch of things that kind of line you up into this belief system that CERN is going to end the world and bring about the revelations, right? Basically. Okay, what is majority of the world is demons entertainments with more than a Luciferian ritual? Let's see. So what do you want to bet? There's some of that in there. They don't even use the real footage. Well, it's 7. Well, hold on. 9 years ago, so they wouldn't have it because that footage is from 7 years ago. Oh, look at that. There's Illuminati, Freemason check boards. Yeah, they have all this weird stuff, man. So yeah, I kind of click through it. You get the idea, right? There's many different grifts out there that run down this line, and they're all kind of really weird and wild and easy to debunk if someone just does a little bit of research. But a lot of times they're handcuffed to others, so you kind of like to. Oh yeah, and that one too. Wow, what's that? By the time you get down to the bottom, you're ready to the bottom of the rabbit hole here. You're ready to accept anything that has to do with confirming the bias that they're opening a portal, and it has to do with mind control and weather manipulation, and they're causing earthquakes, and it's a weapon, and all this stuff like that. Ignore the fact that they've done all this great scientific research and breakthroughs, and just building it is phenomenal. Just being able to build it is phenomenal. Forget all that. It's definitely a portal to hell. So there you have it. And then they bring in guys like, you guys know who Michio Kaku is?
We have found a
Michio Kaku gets dragged into everything. This guy gets dragged into everything, right? I don't know where he stands on, he's a famous scientist, right? He's a famous Asian scientist, which makes him, I guess, I don't know. He's well spoken and he stands out. He's a really smart dude. And so, but he's very popular. They always wrote poor Michio into everything. Like Michio Kaku breaks down in tears. CERN is shut down and something terrifying is happening. Do you think that Michio Kaku is breaking down in tears? You should see the thumbnail for this. It's even worse. They made him look like he's crying. His eyes are all swollen.
Recently made headlines when he broke down in tears over a shocking piece of news.
They made headlines. Poor Michio. Michio made headlines for breaking down in tears. Not for being an award-winning scientist, but for breaking down in tears. Yes. They already opened the portal. The aliens are on the other side. Took one look and said, nope, close it up. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Brent Weinstein called him out as being someone holding back science. Oh, good thing. Let's see.
The Organization of Nuclear Research, or CERN, had abruptly shut down its operations. The implications of this decision have triggered concern.
Okay, abruptly shut down their operations. They did upgrades, but I don't know if that's what he's talking about or not. I have no idea. Again, it's just they throw out these statements, right? And they're never backed up with anything.
Concerns across the scientific community, especially given Kaku's emotional response. What really
so
happened?
Emotional.
Are we in danger? Let's find out. CERN's profound significance. Nestled on the outskirts of conventional understanding, CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research, and engineers, united by the audacious mission.
So now you had the premise set, right? Like we're trying to figure out why Michio's crying, right?
Dimensions. CERN journeys where human understanding quivers, unraveling the very fabric of reality. In a symphony of intellect and innovation, CERN has orchestrated groundbreaking symphonies of discovery. Their resolute pursuit has yielded.
Listen to the way that these things are written too. Like they're written like ChatGPT. How long ago was this? 1 month ago. So it was written by ChatGPT. All right. So you see what they're doing now. People who are into this grift. I think I'm gonna start a CERN channel. Well, how many views did you get in a month, buddy? Oh, only 4,700. I mean, that's better than I usually get on anything, but 64,000 subscribers. Oh, give it some time. Discover Tube. Okay. Whatever, dude. By the way, that reminds me, I hadn't even put my banner. Yeah, I did. Okay. Hit the like button wherever you're at. The one that shows that you like it. Wherever you may be on the internet tonight. I do appreciate it. It really does help. Because I'm just trying to get the truth out here. The real truth. I'm trying to deprogram people from the grift. And your support really does help out a lot. Because as you can tell, it's easier to grift and be, get views than to ungrift, to deprogram. And and get reach. I don't understand why, but that's the way it is.
Found revelations such as the understanding of neutral currents, the unearthing of the Higgs boson's existence, and the elusive dance of the gluon particle. Yet the unquenchable thirst for comprehension drives CERN forward, propelling them towards territories unknown. One such frontier is the pursuit of subatomic revelations, with a as intricate as the cosmic race. CERN's journey. CERN's odyssey has been marked by a series of challenges that have both tested its resilience and showcased its determination to push the boundaries of human knowledge. The Large Hadron Collider, the centerpiece of CERN's scientific endeavors, encountered a significant setback during its formative stages. An event known as the magnetic quench struck during the LHC's initial testing phase, leading to damage in more than 50 superconducting magnets. However, the spirit of scientific exploration prevailed, and CERN managed to overcome these obstacles. The culmination of efforts, marked by tireless dedication, led to a turning point in 2010. The LHC, despite its rocky start, began to unveil groundbreaking insights that had previously remained hidden from the gaze of scientific inquiry. New vistas of knowledge opened up, shedding light on scientific
phenomena.
We're
going to get the Mandela effect next.
Enhanced capabilities.
Next.
The pursuit of knowledge is a dynamic journey that necessitates constant improvement and innovation.
Oh wait, this guy. Let's go. Let's move on.
Right
to
outside the front door is
another grifter. Billy Carson. Billy Carson official. Billy Carson is grifting people with the same lines. So let's listen to what this sounds like when it's all put together. And I believe he hits. There's one in here that went back and referenced HAARP, and like I wanted to bring it up because, you guys, we learned it, right? We already learned it. We learned it, and I want you to, again, this, like, the recall on this is important. Like, you'd be like, oh yeah, like they make it sound like it's so like such a powerful thing and can do all these things that it can't do, and we all know physically it cannot do it. Okay, I'm gonna look for it while this plays. Hold on.
It's this gigantic picture of this Indian god that is standing inside of a portal, walking through. So I think they kind of knew what they were going to be doing when they started this whole building and started this whole project, but they just kind of kept it low key to the general public. This type of research without complete oversight, to me, is scary stuff, man. I mean, you don't even know what can come through.
Okay, so like, do you think that there's any oversight going on with all these countries involved and all this money involved and all these governments involved? There's no oversight here? I mean, how many countries were involved? 23? There's 12 founding member states, and that's 54. But I mean, it's expanded now, right? Belgium, Denmark, France, Germany, Greece, Italy, Netherlands, Norway, Sweden, Switzerland, United Kingdom, and Yugoslavia, and the United States, of course. But is the US even involved in this? Yeah, they gotta be. They gotta be. They are. If not at first, eventually. European. Well, it generally is the European Council. All right. But anyways, yeah. So again, let's Grift on.
CERN is the LHC, the Large Hadron Collider. It's the largest machine in the world, located in Switzerland, and it's all underground. And it uses this gigantic track of this underground tube that's connected, and they send atoms in opposite directions and speed them up to a percentage of the speed of light and then have them collide. And then they analyze the collision to see what comes out of this collision between atoms, you know, quarks and muons and everything else that they discover. But something else they discover in the process is that they create microscopic black holes. So originally, a lot of people were getting scared about this.
Did they discover that, or is that a theory? Right. So here we go again. Grift and Billy Carson, right? It's got his 74,000 views and his 500,000 subscribers, right? He takes no responsibility for what he puts into their heads. He takes no responsibility for it because he's literally just making things up as he goes along. And he's heard it connected them together. We know that it's theoretical. It's not like they know definitely they're causing black holes. I mean, honestly, if we're causing black holes, where are they? Where are they?
This because they were like, man, if you guys create a black hole here on Earth, will it suck the Earth in? I mean,
we're going to create it.
Like, black holes are supposed to be pretty deadly things. Even light can't escape them. So why create one here on Earth? But I think, in my opinion, is that part of the work going on at CERN is to learn how to create stable wormholes. What Einstein and Rosen called an Einstein-Rosen bridge, where you take space and you fold it and make a hole, punch a hole.
Okay, so now he's roped in Einstein and Rosenberg, right, to this thing. When they hadn't been mentioned the entire time. He's now roped them in because he needs his wormhole theory to work out.
Between to make a connection, a shortcut through space-time. And so it could be learning or trying to experiment either by accident or on purpose.
Could be.
How to create a stable wormhole. How do you create one and hold it open? The biggest thing is holding it open. You take a piece of paper, bend it like this. So you had a pencil, you could poke a hole right through.
Okay, that's great. That's really great. You've seen a video. But how can you explain the mechanism itself, CERN, how that does it? right? You can do a piece of paper and do the whole bending space time thing that we've all seen a million times, right? Not intelligent. The Rainbow Bridge from Thor, right? But can you explain how this mechanism known as CERN would do that with just sending the particles around? When they explode, they do this. How they contain the explosion? How they maintain the portal being open? Like, you're not telling anybody anything except for to be scared.
So you can go from point A to point B instead of traveling over the length of that sheet of paper to get mine. And another the biggest problem that we have is not creating a wormhole now, because we can create them, but how do you keep it open?
Oh, you guys know we can create wormholes now? Now we can create them. It's not this maybe or kind of. This is what happens with these guys, man. They go on and on and on and on.
Son, these are naturally occurring.
So here he is, Grift into the black community. This man knows something that most people don't. I love Billy Carson. I don't even care if he's correct. He's such an entertaining storyteller. Where? Oh man, I have to find the one video. Like I lost the video here somewhere.
That open and close every single. Some of them harness that. It was color Ankh.
Okay, so this is here we go.
And naturally can occur in nature. Learn how to harness that power, and we can travel through space. We can go great distances without having to put ourselves in hibernation pods and things like that.
Hibernation pods? No, we all love those.
But what's interesting is you look at some of the pyramid structures and also read the ancient texts. If you go to one of the Sumerian tablets, they talk about having something called a do.
Here comes Samaria.
On key. It was called a bond heaven earth. And Enlil talks about walking from his home world directly to Earth and walking from Earth directly back to his home world, bypassing even getting in a spaceship. You go fast.
Oh, Billy.
Forward a little bit more. The ancient Egyptians talk about something called a Jed pillar Ankh. They have a Jed connected to the inside of Ankh. People think the Ankh was like for decoration or representation.
This is the key to life. The Egyptians believed the onyx was the key to life. This guy has no fucking clue what he's talking about. I've literally been to Egypt. I've literally been inside of pyramids. I've literally spent weeks with a fucking Egyptologist telling us every goddamn hieroglyph on the wall, on every damn place we stopped. It got to be old after a while, honestly. Actually, I might have been a little too young for it. I mean, I was in my party days, so I just wanted to go have fun. But I learned a lot, and I got some good grades for it. But yeah, I had this necklace for a long time. I actually had a necklace I got in Egypt that I would wear everywhere. It was the key to life. Everywhere you went, key to life, key to life, key to life, key to life, key to life. This guy's making shit up.
Represented rebirth, the womb of a woman, and all that. It kind of did. Nowadays, it's just decoration like jewelry. But it also represented something more technological in the ancient times. When you go to the super ancient text, you discover that Ankh and
the super ancient text
at Jed were a oscillator that would resonate to the atomic frequency of the owner. That was the code programmed into the actual Ankh.
Oh my goodness gracious, dude. All right. Where's the part I want to get to?
The elite of the elite had access to these portals to travel all around the world. There's one in Mexico, in Tula, Mexico, where both the Atlantean, who came from Africa over there, he would stand there, and this looks like an indentation in the wall, and he would literally walk through it, and he would reappear somewhere else in the world, and he would come back from time to time. So,
yes, he's coming from the afterlife. There's key to life right there.
But again, he would have the Jed pillar Ankh in his hand. Then you look at Bosnia in Europe. There's a pyramid there called the Pyramid of the Sun. Just like the one, there's one in Mexico called the Pyramid of the Sun. There's one in Bosnia called the Pyramid of the Sun. It's
oh my God. So many ripoffs.
Massive. In this valley, there's like 5 massive pyramids, all covered with brush and trees and debris. They started digging this thing out. They said, oh my God, these are solid stone blocks.
Oh my God.
Tunnels underneath that are connecting the pyramids. The same exact tunnels that are in Teotihuacan in Mexico, connecting the pyramid structure there. But inside of this one tunnel, they found this gigantic crystal. It's called the K2 megalith. And on it is written in runes, an ancient writing. It says, we must stand in defense until we can open the gate. Well, what gate are they talking?
That's the weirdest language I've ever seen right there. We must stand in defense until they open the gate.
I believe they're talking about
the gate of the village, man.
The Stargate. But this
the Stargate, of course. Of course, it's the Stargate. Yeah, Stargate. Yes.
K2 megalith, this gigantic crystal, it has something to do with activating the portal at this Pyramid of the Sun.
Yes, this right here activates the portal right here. You just pee on it and it works.
Which at some point they were defending it and trying to
stop
some people from getting access to it until they can get it activated so they can walk through themselves. Pretty interesting stuff. This is
very interesting. Well documented. It's always well documented. That's how you know they're full of shit.
In my opinion, is researching and learning about technologies that already existed. Again, we're just rediscovering everything.
Why don't you just go to the goddamn pyramid and get the crystal, the portal crystal, and use that? I mean, this looks very expensive compared to stone. A stone compared to stone. I mean, you can save a lot of money, a lot of time.
Everything. There was something interesting before we go on. There was a field trip of sorts, a tour to let people come in and look around. And as one person was
This is the part.
looking around, they saw these gigantic clear panels. They don't know what material they were made out of, and I have a picture.
Right. Okay. So evidently, I see like a little label here, right? Some kind of label, or maybe it's a door handle. I don't know. But evidently, he's saying that this was inside of CERN against the machine itself.
Look around, and as one person was looking around, they saw these gigantic clear panels. They don't know what material they were made out of, and I have a picture of them leaning up against the side of a part of the machine with these hieroglyphs on them. So they sent these hieroglyphs out.
Okay, listen to what he says carefully, and then look at what you're looking at right here.
Including I sent the hieroglyphs out. Nobody can decipher these hieroglyphs. Nobody knows what in the world these are, what they mean, where they.
Nobody know. No, he sent them out. Billy Carson got. Then he got on the phone. He got on his email. He sent these out to the experts, the hieroglyphs, and they couldn't figure out what they mean, even though he's showing a picture of what they mean.
Came from, who wrote them.
Look, there's even a sign for New Jersey right here. See? It's a Catholic church and a lightning bolt where you get struck down for I don't know what it is. It's a chair. So you get to sit in church in Jersey. That's what's going on right there.
But writing, what ancient culture are they linked to? Nobody knows. Massive, giant, clear plates leaning up against the machine.
Yeah. Here we go. Ready?
Door. Gigantic portal, a representation of a portal with one of these ancient Indian gods walking through it. They are just, in
one of them.
my opinion, learning about these creation of portals, learning how to create stable wormholes, just all experimenting, just trying to figure out how do we.
Well, we've already done it. We've already.
What energy can we inject into?
We haven't already done it, and he thinks we already did it. Now at the end of his video, he's saying they're
these
just
holes
trying.
that will stabilize it, maybe even expand it.
Yeah.
Where do they lead? Where do they go? Like when we go through them, where will we end up? Maybe they're sending small probes through or things through to take a look. Maybe they're sending nano probes into them.
They're sending nano probes into the giant wormhole. Like, can you guys see it? I can't see it. It's in there though. I promise you. Okay, well, it is a nano probe. Why did we build this bigger? It would have been cheaper. I don't know. Don't ask me. They said nano probes. I gave them nano probes.
This type of research without complete oversight, to me, is scary stuff, man. I mean, you don't even know what can come through, like life in other worlds and also life in even other dimensions.
What like a giant squid creature.
Dimension is a realm that exists at a different frequency.
Billy the Grift Carson.
See, right now we're in the third dimension. We only can control the first and the second. All right, the first dimension is a line. The second dimension is connected lines. And because we're in the third dimension, we're like the God over the second and the first. We can control and
you are the God of the second dimension, by the way, guys. If you didn't know this already, you are God.
Manipulate those dimensions from the outside.
Mandela
if people were living in those dimensions, like one-dimensional people or two-dimensional people, they would be at complete awe of what our capabilities were because they first of all,
cartoons have no idea that we exist. They have no idea. We control their world. They're like, where the hell did that come from?
They wouldn't be able to see us as a third dimensional being. All they would see is the manipulation of their environment. They would wonder what's going on. All right, so that's kind of power we would have. Everything that exists in the third dimension that we took part in creating, it started all in the multi-dimensional platform. So this chair that we're sitting in right now, a person.
All right, I think that's all I wanted from old Billy. He just goes off on a bunch of nonsense from here on out. I mean, the whole thing's been nonsense, but he just kind of grinds it in. I guess he talks about like aliens. Or, it's really not worth it. I gotta find them
by the scientific community in explaining complex and often abstract concepts to the public. It
also that was David Icke for a second.
The ongoing debate about the organization strangelets, which are a kind of weird without getting and quarks. They are crucial.
Okay, so again,
but also raised new ones, leading scientists to solve puzzles in our
the grifty freaking titles, right? They all the damn CERN scientist is always claiming he's opened a portal to another dimension, and then they talk for 10 minutes and there's never any mention of it. Only that theoretically it could be happening.
As each new discovery could potentially open up as many questions as it answers. As we continue to explore these fundamental questions, the community must decide how far we are willing to go in pursuit of. The 2016 Central Italy earthquake, which was a tragic event resulting in significant loss of life and property, was a natural occurrence linked to the complex tectonic dynamics of the Italian peninsula, a region known for seismic activity. This region has a history of earthquakes due to its position at the convergence of the African and Eurasian tectonic plates. The suggestion that a man-made experiment could trigger such an event reflects a misunderstanding of both the scale and nature of geological versus particle physics phenomena. Scientists were quick to deny these allegations, but that did little to calm the public's curiosity or stop the spread of the rumor. Soon after, local people near these events' site reported unusual weather patterns like dark clouds and unexplained lightning, which only fueled further speculation. Conspiracy theories about the European Organization for Nuclear Research often include elements of end-of-the-world scenarios, portals to other dimensions, and other speculative fictions.
So do you think that these guys are doing, like, making these titles like this to get people to click into them, and then they kind of try to explain away it? Because here, at this point, he's like literally saying, no, that's a cause of earthquakes, right?
These narratives are sometimes bolstered by the use of technical jargon and partial truths about the capabilities of the Large Hadron Collider, which can sound alarming to those not familiar with the actual scientific context.
Right.
For example, discussions about creating miniature black holes or examining antimatter at the European Organization for Nuclear Research can be misconstrued as dangerous or unnatural, despite being standard practices in particle physics that pose no risk to the Earth's safety. In the broader context of public communication of science, the case of the Large Hadron Collider and the earthquake rumors underscores the challenges faced by the scientific community in explaining complex and often abstract concepts to the public. It also highlights the role of education and outreach in dispelling myths and promoting a better understanding of both the benefits and limitations of scientific research. These events highlight the complex relationship the public has with advanced scientific research. While organizations like the European Organization for Nuclear Research are praised for their groundbreaking discoveries, they are also viewed with suspicion and sometimes fear because of the powerful technology they use. This duality reflects a broader discomfort with scientific advancements that push the limits of our current understanding. A video emerged showing what seemed to be a ceremonial illumination at the very heart of the Collider's campus. The video captured several individuals in black robes gathered around the Shiva statue, a representation of destruction and renewal, perhaps aptly chosen for what appeared to be enacted. In the footage, these individuals performed slow, calculated movements around a woman who was eventually made to lie down and was then fatally hurt. The gruesome nature...
See what I'm saying? It's like, that's been debunked. It's been debunked. And then she was fatally hurt, by the way. She was fatally hurt.
Of the act and its backdrop fueled intense discussions and theories. People quickly connected the fictional ideas of dimension hopping with the violent act captured in the video. As the video spread widely, it's...
So fictional ideas of hold on. I gotta see the way he said it was just brilliant here.
Fictional ideas of dimension hopping.
Dimension
violent
hopping.
Act captured in the video. As the video spread widely, it sparked horror and curiosity, leading to numerous questions and accusations. Both skeptics and believers debated the video's authenticity. They pondered the reasons behind such a macabre display, whether it was a deliberate hoax to attract attention and criticism towards the European Organization for Nuclear Research, or something even more troubling. The odd and sometimes alarming stories and videos about dramatic weather events bring to light a deep-rooted concern regarding institutions that harness sophisticated technology, which remains largely elusive to the average person's understanding. This situation underscores a broader apprehension about our grasp of the increasingly complex technological landscape that defines our era, by weaving together advanced scientific...
Yes, more Grift. I mean, it's just hilarious, right? All right. So let's call that, and let's get to the next part. So because people believe that CERN is opening up portals and
gamers were on the edge of their seats with the...
and so on.
Who is this person? Wrong.
They believe that they've actually already kind of like caused things to happen, like cross us over into parallel existences, parallel universes, right? And that we've intersected with these parallel universes, thus causing this thing that had come to be known by the brilliant, dedicated conspiracy researchers to be known as the Mandela effect. So we're going to go now into the Mandela effect, and we're going to have some fun. These are always fun to do because it's to test your memory. I'll give you my take on it, but I'm also going to give you a nice little introduction here. I'm going to bring back this guy. This guys did a good job last time. We're going to let them explain it. So let's explain it first. Then we're going to look at some examples of it, and we're this one doesn't go too hard. Some people will just attach this to something, right? They won't go into it. They'll be like, man, but I swear, things have changed from when. Now, if they changed and we're in a parallel universe, why are we remembering it the way it isn't? I don't know. Well, actually, there's a good site. There's a good explanation for how come people get this Mandela effect, and now it's been giving a name, the Mandela effect, because of one lady, right? Because of one lady. So let's get into this, and I need to slow this guy down. All right, cool. All right, I remember right, and then we'll look at 25 examples of the Mandela effect. And
Who is this person? Wrong. There is no Elvis Presley, and there never was. This rock and roll icon's name is actually Elvis Presley. Now, of course, that's not true. His name is Elvis Presley, but the earth-shattering feeling you just experienced is what some might call the Mandela effect. And you're going to want to buckle up.
Are you guys all familiar with this? You guys have heard this, right? Anybody not heard of the Mandela effect? Anybody home? All right, here we go.
The Mandela effect is a real phenomenon described as when a group of people adamantly believe an incident or experience occurred that never did. Scientists at the University of Chicago described the Mandela effect as, quote, an internet phenomenon describing shared and consistent false memories for specific icons in popular culture. They found that it is both empirically observed.
Yeah, and that's like, why is it always this stuff? Like, why isn't like, okay, I remember so and so being the president, or somebody I know. I remember them having a different job or a different look or something, or being able to walk. I don't know, something like that than what I'm seeing today. And without any explanation, they say they've always never been able to walk and they've always been president. I don't know, but it's always some kind of weird pop culture stuff that changes. Like, why is it that? Why is it always that?
Observable, as well as, so far, having no clear explanation. The term was created by a self-proclaimed paranormal consultant, Fiona Broom, in 2009 after she discovered she was one of many people who wrongly remembered Nelson Mandela dying in prison in the 1980s, while the South African civil rights leader lived on until 2013. In one of the most popular instances of the Mandela effect, people adamantly claim that there's a 1990s movie about a genie called Shazam, and starring actor and comedian Sinbad. The obvious explanation would be that those who remember this are simply confusing this with the 1996 film Kazam about a genie starring Shaquille O'Neal, and conflating it with one of the several Sinbad movies from the same time. In a smaller instance, take a look at this image of the Pokemon character, Pikachu. Many fans of Pokemon remember the character as having a yellow tail with a black tip. However,
this one's really popular
Pikachu's
right here.
tail has never had a black tip. The Mandela effect has also shown up in instances regarding how people remember movie lines. For example, one of the most widely quoted movie lines in the Star Wars franchise is spoken by Darth Vader in Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. Many people remember the line as, "Luke, I am your father." However, the words spoken are actually, "No, I am your father."
There's a good I think I found a good
Similarly,
reason for why people do this.
in 1937, Disney released Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And although many people still quote the line, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?" this is not actually spoken in the film. The actual line begins with, "Magic mirror on the wall."
Though before he starts, I'll tell you my theory on this. Why people believe it. I think they believe the parodies or the recreations more often than they remember the originals, right? If something's parodied, like Tommy Boy, the movie Tommy Boy, everybody saw that like a bunch of times. It's more recent than Star Wars, right? Everybody saw that a million times. And generally speaking, a lot of people saw it many times. It was replayed on cable TV a lot in those days but still, it was a really funny movie. You could watch it from beginning to end. Great movie. But Chris Farley does that, "Luke, I am your father," into the fan, right? Now, you never saw Tommy Boy. We're watching Tommy Boy on Sunday. We'll be watching Tommy Boy on Sunday, just to let you know. So a lot of people believe that start to believe the parody or the recreation or the knockoff more than the original. I really think that's what's going on here, and that overall, and then there's also collective kind of group thing going on. You guys, put your theories in the chat. What you think? Why you think the Mandela effect happens, and why you think people buy into it?
Now, I must mention that I too have personally experienced this phenomenon. Like many others on the internet, I grew up with a popular children's book series that I thought was the Berenstain Bears, only to find out that it is now, and always was, the Berenstain Bears.
But how could this be? Some believe the Mandela effect may be due to the many worlds, or the multiverse theory of quantum mechanics. In this theory, people like Broom are not misremembering, but instead, their reality got crossed with another. Though it's now popular in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the many worlds interpretation theory was developed in the mid-20th century and basically states there are many worlds which exist parallel to our own in space and time. The theory was originally developed by Erwin Schrödinger as a way to explain a phenomenon in quantum physics and purports that there are no alternative outcomes to events. All outcomes happen simultaneously. In 1955, Hugh Everett, a then PhD student, introduced the idea of the universe, quote, splitting into alternate versions of itself when faced with a quantum choice. Each possible outcome of a choice creates a new universe, and these universes are identical up until the moment where the event is triggered.
It might go without saying, but just in case, quantum physicists in the 1950s developed the many worlds interpretation theory to explain experiments in quantum physics, and not the Mandela effect. But by this logic, both timelines, the one where Mandela died in prison and the one where he lived until 2013, exist, but in separate realities. Those who remember one reality but find it didn't actually happen are not misremembering. They may have lived in one universe and somehow switched into another. Or reality itself has shifted. But since there's no Doctor Strange or Green Goblin in the real world, how and why might our realities be shifting so wildly?
Any guesses? Any guesses?
A popular explanation for how realities are shifting involves CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research. Some believe that CERN is conducting experiments that have caused us to enter an alternate reality, and their Large Hadron Collider is at the center of this conspiracy. The Large Hadron Collider, which opened in 2008 and was recently turned back on in July of 2022 after a hiatus, is the world's most powerful particle accelerator and was created to help scientists better understand the structure and building blocks of the universe.
Let's see. Minto says, people assume the memory of an event is perfect. It's not. For instance, if there are many eyewitnesses to an event, there will be many differences in each eyewitness's recollection of the event. Exactly.
This idea has gained traction on TikTok, where a supposed whistleblower has gone viral, making claims such as, quote, CERN is opening parallel dimensions that causes the change in climate. It is
okay. In all fairness, all right, I got to call it out. In all fairness, the Mandela effect has been around longer than TikTok. So,
long been the topic of fear and conspiracy, but when it was announced it would be going back online, some conspiracy theorists and fans of Netflix hit sci-fi comedy musical show Stranger Things spread rumors that it would open a portal to an alternate universe.
Again, the Mandela effect's been around longer than Stranger Things, I believe. I'm pretty sure it has. I mean, I never watched Stranger Things, but that's kind of a newer show, right? So a little bit of reach there, but deeper research will show you that it's been around for a little bit longer. It's been around since the lady thought that Mandela had died and then he hadn't.
As more conspiracy theorists have started discussing CERN's work on TikTok, CERN particle physicist Claire Nellist has taken to responding to some and sharing more about her work with the Large Hadron Collider. I've seen a lot of videos going viral making claims about CERN, and when I see that, it tells me we need to communicate even further because they're getting informed by the conspiracy theories they hear.
Conspiracy grifts. All right. So, and it says, yep, I argued for hours with my husband that Christian Slater was in Men in Tights as Will Scarlet. Nope, it wasn't. Oh, pick your battles. Details of importance and perspectives vary, allowing for different recollections. Yes. I made it up because he was in another Robin Hood. Yeah, he was in the parody, right?
But not everyone believes we're living out the plot of Marvel's Phase 4 or 5. I don't know. I can't keep track anymore.
Well, no, the parody was the Men in Tights. Yeah. Okay.
Some people have a more technological approach and think we're actually living out the plot of the freaking Matrix.
As explained in a video that I also made, and is, in my opinion, worth a watch, some believe that reality as we know it is simply just a simulation.
Yeah, this is simulation theory right here.
We are either being controlled or confined by other beings. This scientific theory can be traced back to a seminal paper about the simulation argument from 2003 by Nick Bostrom, but the theory was widely introduced to many people by the 1999 science fiction movie, The Matrix. The concept of a simulation even has its roots in ancient works like Plato's cave allegory or Zhuangzhou's butterfly dream. If there were an error in the simulation and the programmers fixed it, it could lead to false memories, offering a possible explanation for the Mandela effect. As is theorized, a simulation might be created to see how we might react to certain situations, and alternatively, the mistake could actually be on purpose, as our programmers might hope to make us suspicious to see how we might react to that.
Oh, yeah.
Essentially, any awareness of a simulation could in fact be part of the simulation itself.
What makes many of these theories compelling is that although you cannot prove them, you also cannot definitely disprove them.
The biggest flaw in the idea that the Mandela effect is caused by the many worlds interpretation is that the theory only works along the understood lines of quantum physics if information cannot be transferred across worlds. So for the same reason the idea seems plausible, it must also be rejected. As for CERN's work with the Large Hadron Collider, the board of the International Mandela Effect Conference has said CERN is just as valid of a theory as any other at this point. However, one of its members has also noted that the, quote, earliest Mandela effects were happening long before CERN's Large Hadron Collider fired up. In response to conspiracy claims, a spokesman for CERN said, quote, CERN's research captures the imaginations of lots of people, which is why CERN has been featured in a lot of science fiction books, even movies around the world.
But excluding the idea that we might be living out the plot of the Multiverse of Madness, Stranger Things, The Matrix, or any number of the Cars movies, there are possibly real-world explanations.
According to a 2020 study in the Journal of Psychological Science, 76% of adults made at least one detectable error when asked to recall information. Even though most test subjects scored very high, most people's memories are still capable of making even a small mistake. Some believe that the Mandela effect is the result of our brain reconsolidating memories. MRI research has shown that memories are stored in our brains nearby to similar memories. Caitlin Amott, a neuroscientist, explains, quote, memories are organized in the brain so that similar memories are stored in nearby neurons. When a memory is recalled, those cells are able to change their connection, which allows for the addition of new information.
Just like the reprogramming going on here, right?
But because neurons that fire together wire together, sometimes false memories can emerge from erroneous connections.
For example, that also works into this conspiracy grift too, right? You start lining things up. You create these rabbit holes, right? So you start connecting memories for people by your disinformation, right? By your lack of research or whatever it is, your grift.
Example, if you learn that Alexander Hamilton was a founding father at the same time you learn that he was not president, but other founding fathers were, you are more likely to misremember that Alexander Hamilton was president, because neurons fired when asked about Hamilton were also fired when asked about presidents. A popular example of this could be found in the case of Nelson Mandela's death. In 1977, another anti-apartheid activist, Steve Biko, did die while imprisoned. Both Biko and Mandela were leaders with similar achievements. It is therefore possible that people who remember Mandela dying in prison have actually just woven the memories of these men together. Additionally, the internet might be participatory in a certain amount of suggestibility.
You think?
According to Amott, suggestibility is the tendency to believe what others suggest to be true. This is why lawyers
Sure
are
is.
prohibited from asking witnesses leading questions that suggest a specific answer. There
There
is
you go.
also research to prove that when false information is given to us by someone else, it can actually weaken the fidelity of an existing memory. So if someone was to suggest that you had read the Berenstain Bears, your brain might create a memory of you doing so.
Like, before the internet, I doubt everyone individually decided that their least favorite word was moist. Perhaps prior to Reddit,
Well, I
people
mean,
might have met stinky or rat trap.
Hold on. Yeah, also though, but if they pronounce it a certain way, right? Then your brain will actually kind of spell it that way. As far as Stein.
Word was moist. Perhaps prior to Reddit, people might have met stinky or rat trap with similar disdain. And I'm sure if given enough time, you might also be able to come up with an instance or two where large groups on the internet have fervently formed communities around, to put it nicely, wrong information.
Another theory might also be that people just can't admit when they are wrong. According to scientists, many people tend to believe their own memories over someone else's.
So it's better to know the truth than be right. It gets you out of that conundrum.
This could be due to ego protection or cognitive dissonance,
right?
The state of knowing conflicting information but still resisting a change in opinion or behavior.
Which is exactly what goes on right now. Like as we're deprogramming these conspiracy grifts, the people that have been grifted by it are going through this exact dilemma, right? This is what keeps them locked in. And this is why I try to approach it in a way that gives them an out, gives them a way to say, you know what, it's okay. There's many reasons why I could have been taken in by this or I could have fallen for this, but the important thing is that I know the truth now and that I'm out of it. Now I can help other people out of it. You see, it becomes, you can turn that around and turn it into a beneficial thing where people actually become more sophisticated because of the experience of having fallen for it. Can you retweet? Can you retweet my Spaces live? Love US. Love us. Hey Justin, how's it going? Good to see you, man. Can you retweet my Spaces live? Sure. What is your Spaces live? Oh yeah, and thank you for reminding me to do something because I made another promise to Libby tonight. I need to talk about an important event that's coming up this weekend. So thank you for that, Justin. And I'll take a look over here and see what you got. If I can find it, I'll do it. Let's see, where are you at? Shelly, if you're in the X chat over there with Justin, can you help him out with that? And then I'll tag on to it. Okay, thank you so much. Trump won the 2020 election. Was yeah, I believe you on that, buddy. We've done a lot of talk about that too. So you do Spaces live, man. We need to hook up and maybe have a chat sometime. I've been looking at these Spaces lately, and they do really well, and I'd like to kind of figure out the ins and outs of that better for my my own channel and to get to talk to people like you. So let's talk, Justin. Let's talk.
Whatever the reason, this one's a real head scratcher. It also seems that each instance of these false memories could have their own case-specific explanation. What we do know for certain is that at this moment, all we have is the here and now. So be nice to yourself and everyone around you, and maybe nobody will misremember you as being anything but.
All right. Get that out of there. All right, so there you go. That gives you the basic rundown of the Mandela effect and the byproduct of this whole CERN grift that's going on. So now let's have some fun. Let's go test our memories against the Mandela effect. Oh yeah, and by the way, since I have a moment here, let me go ahead and keep that promise that I made and tell you about, well, not that one. Tell you about what Mr. Libby asked me to talk about today. I'm always happy to, if you guys contact me to help out where I can, if as long as it's not grifty, we're good. All right, so not Grifty the person, I don't know him, but I'm talking about as long as the information isn't misleading. All right. There is a link in the general, I'll just put it out here. Let me click onto it here. And okay, here it is. And this is, I guess a lot of people that we know are going to be part of this. And I guess this is happening on Genogram's channel. Let me just pull this up. All right. Hold on a second. There is an individual in the community who's going through a hard time. We'll share it out and put the link in the chat. All right, there it is right there. Gibson Go. They're having a but it looks Max Mira. Max Mira is going to be there, so it's totally worth going now. Maybe I'll make an appearance too. If I'm invited. But there's a bunch of folks that we know on here. There's MG. There's Kaiser. There's Legal Vices. There's Aussie Overlord. And some other folks down and around in there. There's MLS. MLS was here earlier. There's MLS right there. All right, so it's a 10-hour plus fundraiser for Fiery Red. Let's see, I took that right. Yeah, okay. Fiery Red is having some health issues. Listen, I think it's cancer if I remember right. Help Fiery Red. And it's a fundraiser. There's just Digger 420. There's Libby and Soulless Ginger. There's Shinogram. I don't know who this person with the horns is. I don't know who this person I don't know who some of these people are. I think that is she changed her name, so I don't know what her new name is. Moxie Chick or something. So there you go. Bunch of people, all-star studded cast of people that are going to be part of this. It's going to be going on Saturday at 4:30 p.m. in the afternoon. All right, so the good cause there. I'm putting the link into this. There you go. My kitten's meowing. I don't know. The cats are weird. They just start meow for no reason. I don't understand why. All right, there we go. So Shelly put it in the chat. There it is. The Gibson goes on the page with the event itself. So please, guys, if you can, stop by and share the love, help this person out in hard times. That's what community is all about. Let's do it. All right, thank you. And there you go, Leaps. I hope to see you there. Good cause, people coming together for a good cause. You gotta love it. That's the good stuff right there. All right, let's get back to the show. And let's go and let's see how well we remember things. Have you suffered from the Mandela effect? We're gonna find out. We're gonna do the top. Let's see what's the time period. Perfect. All right, so we're gonna do this top. We're gonna speed it up a little bit. I'm gonna do this top 25 here. All right, let me know if I need anything else to happen. Top 25 list by this dude. This is pretty good though. Present. And I love the way that the title again is like 25 things that prove the Mandela effect exists. Well, if the Mandela effect is just people remembering things wrong, yes, it totally does. If it has anything to do with CERN and opening portals, then no. But here you go.
There are cases of the Mandela effect everywhere. Is the Mandela effect the only plausible reason why Trump managed to win back in 2016? Pop stars, kings, and secret agents, they're all here. The memory can really play tricks, and the Mandela effect only makes things worse. The Mandela effect is a mind-expanding phenomenon with a simple premise. That reality is being distorted so we humans can't remember things the way they were. Who came up with it? Paranormal researcher Fiona Broom, who figured the iconic Nelson Mandela had died in prison in the 1980s. Pretty crazy considering he was freed in 1990 and became president of South Africa. And she realized that she wasn't the only person who thought of this. Hence, the legend of the Mandela effect was born. It's since been applied to all kinds of things in our culture. I'm Mike with List 25, and here are 25 things that prove the Mandela effect exists. 25. Death of Neil Armstrong. You don't need a channel like ours to tell you who Neil Armstrong is. He was famously the first man to step onto the lunar surface back in 1969. Here's a question for you, though. Do you know when Neil Armstrong died? He left this planet, so to speak, in 2012. However, the news bypassed a bunch of people who actually believed he died later on. Armstrong may have gone to the moon, but these days he's caught in the gravitational pull that is the Mandela effect. There is positive news in that he got his own movie biopic in 2018 starring Ryan Gosling. You've got to be pleased with that casting. And it could only lead to more people finding out about his extraordinary life, not to mention, when he passed away. 24. Mother Teresa. If one name is associated with the milk of human kindness with a big asterisk and the power of doing good deeds, then it's surely Mother Teresa of Calcutta. Working tirelessly until her passing until 1997, she devoted her life to the poorest in society and was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. You'd think someone like this would reach the level of sainthood quite quickly. Yet when it comes to her canonization, in other words, the time she was officially made a saint, the truth is not very well known at all. According to those who suffer from the Mandela effect, Mother Teresa was canonized in line with Roman Catholic tradition during the 1990s. They'd be surprised to hear the honor wasn't finally bestowed until nearly 20 years after her death in 2016. 23. Old phones. A particularly striking example of the Mandela effect is the How to See into a Parallel Dimension series on TikTok made by a user called the Thought Police. He uses an old school mobile device with the recommended date of pre-2008 to shoot footage of things like food packaging, movie clips, and more to reveal a supposedly hidden truth. With these highly watchable videos, it appears as if he's shifting us into another reality or jumping into another time. He's certainly caught the imaginations of many fellow social media users, like this YouTuber who was astonished.
You guys remember this guy? Do you guys remember this guy? He's the guy who bought into the whole, like, the party I never should have gone to, like, made up story, right? So I'm not surprised he's in this video 8 times down, dude. Like, he's been in 2 videos. He's been in 2 videos by 2 different creators now, pointing out that he's like just buying into BS. Hilarious. Poor dude. I forget his name though. But he's got a lot of people that watch his stuff, man. So good on him. But he tends to buy into a lot of stuff. So I thought it was really funny when he popped up in this video.
By revelations about SpongeBob SquarePants. On another undersea note, let's take a deep dive into the Mandela effect. There's nothing more likely to get people's attention than food, am I right? So keep watching for a tasty story. 22. Oreos. Just saying the word Oreos makes me hungry. Double stuffed Oreos especially, because you get more of that creamy goodness.
All right, hold on. Guys, is it double stuffed Oreos? If we're going to do this right, I'm going to slow it down a little bit. Double stuffed Oreos? There you go. How do you guys remember it? Anybody? Double stuff? All right, Wolf Room, thank you for jumping in and participating. Anybody else? Double stuff, I think. Okay. Anyone else? This is how we test out the Mandela effect here, guys. This is how we test it out. All right.
That said, there's actually a secret about this type of Oreo that'll blow your mind. And it's a secret hiding in plain sight. All you need to do is pick up a packet and look. You might be wondering what I'm talking about, but pay real close attention to the packet and the logo.
Double stuff with 1 F.
It says double stuff, not stuffed. Plus, things get weirder with the fact that stuff only has 1 F. So what gives? Analysis has shown that in order for the name to make sense to your brain, it should read double stuffed instead of stuff. So that's the way you read it. As for the spelling stuff with 1 F, well, that isn't clear. But it got the company out of a jam when a lawsuit was brought on accusing them of misleading customers. This case was based on the product not containing double the amount of stuff. The makers of Oreos argued that stuff, S-T-U-F, was an invented word referring to double the pleasure rather than any strict measurement. Interesting move there, guys.
Clever girl. Yeah, just make it more. Yeah, then that's it. That's what we meant.
I'm not going to stop eating Oreo stuff. 21. Overwatch. The Mandela effect and games overlap quite often. There's the Monopoly Man, who everyone thought had a monocle.
Okay, you guys remember this? Again, it's the parody or the recreation. I think that people tend to remember more. So someone who redrew the original, added something to it, and that became more popular than the original, say, or at least more modernly exposed than the original, then people might tend to remember the parody or the recreation more than the original.
Cool, but doesn't. Then on the video game side of things, you have Pikachu's tail, which I'll get to later. Meanwhile, in the world of Overwatch, another story developed. Gamers were on the edge of their seats with the news that a secret connection existed between the characters of Mercy and Reaper. This excited the game for an exchange of dialogue, where it sounded like Mercy had been involved in Reaper's backstory. Sadly for fans, this turned out to be a group delusion, and the dialogue didn't actually exist. They might be interested in the Mandela Effect card game, though. I love Overwatch. Who's your main? Let me know. And if you're on Overwatch, jump on. I'll play with you. I haven't played in a while, though. Ever since Overwatch 2 came out, it's not been as more pay to play rather than fun. 20. Fruit of the Loom. In case you're not aware, Fruit of the Loom is a clothing brand, not a food company. It's a well-known name, but you don't necessarily think of hoodies and sweatpants when you hear it. The company logo is similarly an image of fruit, though you should bear in mind the word loom, too, of course. You make clothes using a loom, so what you're doing is wearing the fruits produced by it. Anyway, adding to the potential confusion is the idea that a cornucopia was also part of the iconic logo.
Yeah, you see, some people can remember it with this cornucopia behind it.
Well, what's a cornucopia, you might be asking? Well, it's a basket shaped like a horn, and sufferers of the Mandela effect state it's actually a prominent part of the design. The remembrance was so deeply ingrained that the company themselves took to social media to try and clarify the situation. So how did the cornucopia enter the conversation in the first place? The fact that a large number of people recall the logo this way is a testament to the power of the Mandela effect. That reminds me, I need to buy a basket, but I won't be buying it from Fruit of the Loom, of course, because they don't make them. 19. Forgetful fruit. Staying on the topic of juicy produce, we're talking about Fruit Loops. This product has a definite connection to actual fruit, though in cereal form. It's a staple of breakfast tables everywhere. But
is it really? Is it really?
You know how to spell it. The answer is loopier than you think. You probably believe, as I did, that Kellogg's went for the standard F-R-U-I-T. Well, it turns out we've been wrong-footed by the Mandela effect. The two-word title is linked with a double O, kind of like James Bond, only with milk instead of martinis. It's incredible that we can be incorrect about something when it's been on a box in big letters in front of our very eyes for years. 18. Sounds cheesy. I love a good savory snack. Salty chips or something with a stronger flavor, like Cheez-Its. Now, is that spelled with an S or a Z? Actually, you know what? It isn't an S or a Z at all. The name of the product is Cheez-It. This is another example of group thinking gone awry. How many times have you heard someone say Cheez-Its in movies or on TV? The company is adamant, however, that it's always been Cheez-It, and that things have been this way since the early 20th century. I reckon what happened is that people pluralized the name, otherwise it would sound silly. You want a bowl of Cheez-It? Just doesn't seem right to me.
A lot of it has to do with words, doesn't it?
TikTok user The Thought Police, who I mentioned earlier, made a video revealing the cheesy truth using the camera on his out-of-date mobile device. The results are convincing for sure, though some commenters believe this is a well-put-together piece of trickery by a skilled magician. 17. Batteries still not included. Proof using the camera on doesn't seem right to me. TikTok user The Thought Police, who I mentioned earlier, made a video revealing the cheesy.
It looks the same. So I don't get it.
Truth using the camera on his out-of-date
okay, yeah,
mobile device. The results are convincing for sure, though some commenters believe this is a well-put-together piece of trickery by a skilled magician. 17. Batteries still not included. In 1987, a cult sci-fi film was released called Batteries Not Included. With creative involvement from Steven Spielberg, the story focused on a group of people trying to prevent their block from being demolished by money-hungry villains. They're helped in their efforts by a group of strange little robots from outer space. It was a charming movie. The tenants won the day, and everything seemed pretty neatly wrapped up. But wait, did they decide to give this crazy bunch of characters a sequel? Many people believe there was a second chapter titled Batteries Still Not Included. This is very strange because the movie simply isn't a thing. It does not exist. However, online commentators talk about it as if they watched it.
Right.
16. Captain Pugwash. The exploits of British TV cartoon character Captain Pugwash are legendary, partly due to the fact that he sailed the 7 seas and got into all kinds of adventures, and also due to some rather interesting names for his crewmates. There was much amusement at some of the pirate handles, such as Roger, the cabin boy, and Seaman Staines. What kind of warm mind would include these names in a children's TV show? The answer is no one. This is another example of the Mandela effect in action. The fantasy was so powerful, it even made it into print. John Ryan, who created the series, decided to hoist the mainsail and go into battle with the press, following stories that the BBC had pulled the plug on Pugwash as a result of these salty double entendres. Yar. Har. 5.
So he's saying it was never made?
No one. This is another example of the Mandela effect in action. The fantasy was so powerful, it even made it into print. John Ryan, who created the series, decided to hoist the mainsail and go into battle with the press, following stories that the BBC had pulled the plug on Pugwash as a result of these salty double entendres. Yar. Har. 5. Sexy goings on. Sex and the City is a big hit with viewers, whether they're watching the classic series or the revived version with the characters as older women. What could the Mandela effect possibly have to do with their X-rated antics? Well, the clue is in the name. Sex and the City has been branded Sex in the City, with TikTok trickery to match. The confusion was great enough for press publications to refer to the show by this erroneous title. Whether it's happening in the city or otherwise, it keeps the conversation about Sarah Jessica Parker and her sassy friends in the public eye. 14. Pikachu. Tails play a large part in the narrative of the Mandela effect. A beloved character like Pikachu is familiar to millions. Though what is exactly going on with Pikachu's back end? Oh, there's a question I never thought I'd ask in one of these videos. You see, there are Pokemon addicts out there who are convinced the little hero has a tail with a black tip. I should say that there's reportedly very little evidence that suggests this to be the case. It appears to be one of those ideas that a lot of folks have in their minds for some reason. Fans would also draw the character.
It's ears, right? Tips of his ears, maybe?
With this different tail, showing how widespread the false image became. 13. Jaws 2. The first Jaws movie is well known in Mandela effect circles, with one of its classic lines often misquoted. We're going to need a bigger boat is actually, you're going to need a bigger boat.
You're going to need a bigger boat.
But I can go one better than that, courtesy of the film's sequel. Jaws 2 is one of those rare things, a follow-up that some enjoy as much as the first flick. The storyline involves teens on a boat caught up in toothsome terror as another great white shark preys on the stricken beach community of Amity. One character in particular, Marge, suffers a gruesome fate. Unable to climb out of the water and up to safety in time, she is grabbed by the shark. We watch her disappear behind the head of the beast as it rears out of the water for this tasty morsel. Thankfully, we don't see any more. That imagery is nightmarish enough. Of course, a legend is doing the rounds of saying there's a sequence where poor Marge is shown in the teeth of Jaws. That never happened.
Nope.
I'm not sure why people think that. Maybe they're getting it mixed up with the famous scene towards the end of the first film where crazy fisherman Quint gets his just desserts. Desserts.
Oh, the girl and the guy who were like going to go do it in the boat. And the guy was trying to climb back up and he got chomped down.
Beaches and cream. 12. Lord of the Rings. Gandalf the Grey, aka Sir Ian McKellen, has some of the best dialogue in the Lord of the Rings franchise. You Shall Not Pass is probably the most famous, though there's another one that has proved misleading. Now, there's a bit of a spoiler here, in case you're one of the small handful of people who's never watched the movies before. Before the shocking moment when Gandalf lets go of a cliff edge before plunging to certain death, he manages to gasp, "Run, you fools!" Sound advice, because his friends are in a whole lot of trouble. Speaking of advice, there is a problem here. In another case of the Mandela effect, that's not what the wizard actually said. Maybe some audience members were so swept up in the excitement they misheard the line, because the accurate version is, "Fly, you fools." Although last I checked, hobbits don't have wings. Great call, Gandalf. 11. Hello, Clarice.
Yes.
No impersonation of Hannibal Lecter is complete without the line, "Hello, Clarice." Trouble is, does the Cannibal Doctor say these words? Jim Carrey certainly did when taking off Lecter in his movie, The Cable Guy. As for the man himself...
Yeah, again, that goes back to the whole Tommy Boy thing with Star Wars. It's like people tend to remember the parody recreation of it more than the original for some reason. Maybe it's more recent.
Played by Sir Anthony Hopkins, he sadly failed to greet Jodie Foster's heroine in this way. He must have had other things on his mind, like planning a grisly escape from incarceration before tracking down his former captor and eating him. It took until 2001 and the follow-up film titled Hannibal for Dr. Lecter to finally say hello to Clarice Starling. 10. Big. Tom Hanks' Big is a tear-jerking, heartwarming story about a boy who makes a wish and becomes an adult in his sleep. As you probably recall, the movie ends with the grown-up Hanks changing back into a child again. At least that's how some of you remember it. The Mandela effect has led a bunch of fans to believe things panned out a little differently. The Hanks character still goes back to being a kid. In their minds, however, so does the lovely lady he meets during the course of the movie. She manages to become a child as well, presumably so romance can blossom. Firstly, wow. That's a fairly warped conclusion if I've ever heard one.
It is.
Secondly, it's not true. The memory can really play tricks, and Mandela effect only makes things worse. 9. Casablanca. You must remember this, but are you remembering it the right way? "Play it again, Sam" is the defining line of Casablanca, starring Humphrey Bogart and Ingrid Bergman. How accurate is this? Not very. Yes, the classic dialogue is subject to some confusion. Sam, as played by Julie Wilson, is called upon numerous times to play music. That's no surprise. He's a pianist at Rick's Bar, after all. Yet, Bogart, believed to be the deliverer of the line, never said, "Play it again, Sam." The error was reinforced with Woody Allen's script, "Play It Again, Sam," from the 1970s. Now, celebrities are often mixed up in stories about the Mandela effect, as this next bunch of entries...
Okay, hold on. If you remember Looney Tunes, Bugs Bunny, that's probably where it came from. If I'm not doing the Mandela effect on myself right now, I tend to remember the Looney Tunes would always tell the pianist, "Play it again, Sam. Play it again, Sam. Play it again, Sam." So I don't know if that's what, because he would probably be in that role in the cartoon. I don't know if that's maybe where it came from. But I think that's like, you know, again, there's a recreation that isn't accurate.
Demonstrates. Pop stars, kings, and secret agents, they're all here. 8. Britney Spears. Britney is becoming well known for posing naked on social media. When it comes to wearing things, however, you'll often see her sporting a headset. There's so much dancing around during her live performances that it isn't feasible to carry a microphone while you're doing it. I'm not an iconic pop princess myself, as you may have noticed, so I'm speculating, but you can see why she uses them. And by this point, you've no doubt guessed that Britney is subject to the Mandela effect, just like everything else. The video for her early hit, "Oops, I Did It Again," shows her in a red catsuit, and according to some fans, a headset. Oops, you guys got it wrong, again. Bearing in mind it's one of the star's most famous looks, the fact she isn't wearing a headset at all makes this example all the more remarkable. Maybe it was this doll with a headset as an accessory that planted the idea in people's minds. 7. Henry
I
VIII.
would have thought about it.
From shaking your moneymaker on stage to ruling England with an iron fist. While we think of the Mandela effect as a recent phenomenon, that doesn't mean it can't be applied to figures from yesteryear. Henry VIII is often presented as a rather generous fellow. Generous in proportions, that is. An image has taken hold of the bloated king who liked nothing more than digging into a turkey leg. A well-known painting of Henry from the Renaissance period shows him holding a scabbard, and some appeared to have looked at this regal item and thought it was a piece of poultry. Aside from the fact that this ruler spent most of his life with a trim figure, it's been pointed out that the turkey wasn't introduced in England until 3 years after he passed away. Now, it isn't like we in the 21st century can have a solid recollection of Henry VIII. The man lived hundreds of years ago. Even so, the Mandela effect has most definitely impacted our perception of him. 6. Tom Cruise. When he's not leaping out of helicopters or jumping over gullies on a motorbike, Tom Cruise leads a mysterious celebrity lifestyle. I'm not saying he's strange or anything, just that he has the kind of life most of us on the planet have no idea about and can only dream of. So it makes sense that he too has fallen victim to the Mandela effect in some people's eyes. Early in his career, he starred in a movie called Risky Business, which my cousin was the casting director of. The perfectly normal tale of a young man who decides to run a bordello from his parents' house. Things were so much more innocent back then. One memorable scene shows Cruise dancing in his shirt, underwear, and socks, sliding across the floor, and generally giving his fans something to gawk at. Many believe he's wearing shades in the sequence, providing an extra touch of cool. In actual fact, he isn't. Which figures, because it'd probably make the place a little dark and he'd probably crash into something and break it. A fun side fact for you now, Cruise was wanted for the Keanu Reeves role in The Matrix. The classic sci-fi flick is often referred to when discussing the Mandela effect. This is due to its plot, where the world as we know it is an illusion and our true purpose is to function as batteries for our robot overlords. What are the big ideas behind the Mandela effect? Time for the science part, as we boggle your mind with some key concepts. 5. Multiverse. There are cases of the Mandela effect everywhere, and our look at movie-based stories continues with the multiverse. This concept has been presented to us in the big comic book franchises. Not only do they give viewers an intriguing sideways look at classic characters in other dimensions, but multiverses also come in handy for bringing people back from the dead and rebooting story ideas everyone's sick of. The Mandela effect thrives on alternate realities, where things can either be slightly different or the total opposite of our day-to-day lives. How does the multiverse actually work? Alan Guth, a physicist, is behind one of the key ideas, namely cosmic inflation theory. In summary, a universe can be inflated like a balloon, getting bigger and bigger and expanding outward. As this happens, more and more universes are created with parallel realities falling away like apples from a tree. Our own expansion apparently stopped billions of years ago, though experts believe other universes expanded much more or are still expanding. The expansion idea is a hypothetical one, though if it is true, it could lend the Mandela effect a lot of credibility. 4. CERN. You've probably heard of the scientific organization CERN in the news. Based on the Franco-Swiss border, they're the ones who built the Large Hadron Collider, a particle accelerator that smashes proton beams together with dramatic results. CERN stands for the European Council for Nuclear Research. Because of the Large Hadron Collider, we now know about the Higgs boson particle, which gives mass to other particles in our universe. This is also called the God particle. But there's far more to CERN than particles and how to collide them. The organization was established in the 1950s and has had a long and, in some people's eye, dangerous history. Playing God isn't a good look, and naturally this has led to CERN being linked to the Mandela effect. Messing around with the fabric of the universe could potentially have resulted in different realities being created. This sounds like the plot of a movie, and I don't think it's unfair to put this in the box marked conspiracy theory. That said, the nature of CERN's work is, by its very nature, mysterious. Who knows what after effects we're experiencing thanks to those crazy experiments going on in the snowy mountains.
Maybe the Mandela effect?
3. Tiananmen Square. The image of a lone protester standing in front of a tank at Tiananmen Square in China is one of the most shocking and recognizable pictures of the late 20th century. But what was the fate of this individual, whose stand against authority was seen as truly brave and life-threatening? Some believe the man was run over by the tank back in 1989. Just as there are people who thought Nelson Mandela died in prison, so sufferers of the Mandela effect believe that Tank Man paid the price for challenging the might of the People's Liberation Army. Student Wang Weilin is reportedly the person captured on camera. You can see the tank swerving to get past him, only for the young man to reposition himself to block it. It's shocking to watch. What ultimately happened? While he wasn't killed by the tank, some state he was dragged out of the way, and to this day, people don't know his whereabouts. The fact that events at Tiananmen Square were violent and bloody adds to the impression that the student died under a tank during this turbulent time. 2. Donald Trump. You remember earlier that I mentioned CERN, a scientific organization who's been accused of interfering with Mother Nature and blurring the lines between different realities?
Yeah.
Well, turns out they may be responsible for one of the most controversial political figures in American history. President Donald Trump took us through some crazy times when he occupied the White House. However, things seemed so out of kilter for certain people, they began to think we'd entered another dimension. One where Trump had become leader of the free world in a kind of bizarro situation. Fingers pointed at CERN as the cause of the mind-blowing development. The team had to issue a statement debunking the idea and clarifying that they had nothing to do with the election. Is the Mandela effect the only plausible reason why Trump managed to win back in 2016? Either way, the history books have been written. 1. 52 states. Now, you may be looking at that title and thinking, 52 states? I thought America only had 50. And you'd be right to be confused. To reassure you, you haven't missed anything. Officially, America has 50 states. Though having said that, the Mandela effect plays havoc with people's perceptions. Some think there are a couple more states out there, bringing the grand total to 52. What are these stragglers? One
Puerto
is
Rico?
Washington, D.C.
Oh,
which
DC.
is in fact a district,
Puerto Rico,
not a
DC.
state. The other is Puerto Rico.
Yes.
That falls under the tricky title of an unincorporated territory, which is also not a state. Whilst you can usually have a good chuckle at people who are misunderstanding the world around them via the Mandela effect, it's more understandable in this particular case, I'd say. But if you're ever in doubt, just count the stars on the flag.
There
Or
you go.
sing that amazing 50 Nifty United States song to yourself, which has every state. Learn that in elementary school. So, are there any other examples of the Mandela effect you think we should have covered? Have we proved to you that it does in fact exist?
Yeah.
Let us
People
know in the
find them
comments
all the
below.
time.
And if you enjoyed this list, you'll love 25 mind-boggling
All right. What?
notification bell.
Can we just do
and check
that?
out our social medias.
25 more mind-boggling examples, dude. This guy, you talk about like making the most out of your content. He's got 2 different 25 lists, 24-minute videos, 25 list videos of the Mandela effect. Somehow he's managed to make 2 big long videos out of it. That's pretty wild. Good on you, dude. 2.75 million subscribers. That video had been seen 233,000 times, and it's from 5 months ago. Get on it. Yeah, I learned things too by doing research about other creators and about what channels work, what channels struggle, and all these kind of things. There's a lot of Mandela effect videos out there. I mean, a lot. Can you imagine me like doing one of these? Like, oh, is it possible? Maybe. Let's see. Not a single person is going to claim that this is due to someone finally building a time machine and them going back and changing Oreo packages and books. Yeah, right. I know. Just they're like time troll. It's time troll. That's what it is. Time trolling. It's a brand new thing. Let's all do it. Let's do the time troll again. Judge Maddie, what's up? Unpopular opinion: wearing a hockey shirt actually increases credibility. Tampa, though, compromises that. Yeah. Well, you know, every team needs a fan. Every team needs a fan. Yes, there you have it. So, ladies and gentlemen, where are we at? We're right at the 3-hour mark. I think it goes without saying that the solar eclipse did nothing, and just to show more insanity wouldn't. I don't think that would do anything for that. But I'll leave it at the end of the playlist. This is one of those playlists where I'm like, do I actually even want to put this? I want to put this playlist out with corroborating. I'll put the good stuff out. Like, I'll probably cut some of the material I use out of this playlist just because a lot of it's just, you know, examples of people being bunk. And you know, at the top of all my playlists are my live show. So hopefully they watch that first and just like, okay, I can go back and find this video he was looking at and either watch the whole thing or rewatch it or whatever, right? Check me on it. I don't care, whatever. So that's why I put the lists out. I put a list out that goes with the last 2 that I did. And I've gone back and I've redone some of my older lists, my older debunking streams. And I've even retitled some of them to kind of match the new title. So I've done that for the moon landing stuff. I've done it for a few other things. So if you check my playlists, you're going to find that there's a few new ones out there that are there to have the information in it, have the live stream in it. Oh, I did a flat earth. I released the flat earth one too. And I'll add to those. So as I'm going through, if you ever need them for like debates or you just want to go deeper into the topic or revisit it, it's there. Hopefully it's more for other people to discover. Once I clean this one up, I'll release it and I'll put the link in the description. So if you're watching this, rewatching this, it's likely already there. You can just go to the description and find the link to the playlist if you want to watch any of these videos or some of the other ones that I added to go with this topic. I'll be a part of it. And like I said, if you go to my front page and click on playlists on the YouTube side, you'll see new playlists over there that have all this information in it. So enjoy that. Okay. Enjoy that. And that's where we have it. So ladies and gentlemen, deprogramming, CERN, and its byproduct, the Mandela effect. I think we did a good job tonight of educating, giving people an opportunity to leave the grift, should they so choose to, understanding that it's more important to know the truth than to go on believing you're right when you've just been grifted, right? And that there is a community of people out there that can be based, can be outside the establishment narrative and not down in a rabbit hole. And that's us, the Winning Reality crew, the Winning Reality crowd, and you're welcome to be part of it. I hope you will join us on the journey towards solution culture as we continue to grind our way there, for sure. All right. I will be back Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern for Winning Saturday Night. I'm not sure, probably just a typical show this week, unless something comes up. Or if the, if I go on this, if I get invited to this, this stream going on, this fundraising stream for Fiery Red, then I may be over there doing that. And beforehand, and yeah, so we'll play it by ear Saturday night. Sunday, we'll be back with Old School Watch Party Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern with myself and Talking Trash and Truths. That's her. And we will be doing, again, a revisit, but a new angle on kind of like a little true crime kind of stint we're going to go on for a second here. And we will go and we will look at the newish documentary, a couple of years past, a different angle on the whole trial thing. Now that OJ's passed away, they go back and revisit it. Some of the analysis in it. Eric Huntley's done a good job with some of this stuff, but one of the guys he had on there put out a documentary. I want to review it with you guys and see what you think from this alternative angle. A lot of questions that didn't come up in court. A lot of things that weren't mentioned are in this documentary. And this guy was, I guess OJ's right-hand man for a long time, or at least part of this crew, whatever, manager style kind of guy. And he has an interesting take on it, and I thought you guys would enjoy it. I think Shelly and I have watched it. I think it's worth taking a look at, and we'll add some additional content to it. And I guess we'll be watching Tommy Boy, because why not? We'll watch Tommy Boy since Shelly hasn't seen it yet. And it should make her laugh quite a bit. So we'll do that. So that's when I'll be back. Thank you guys so much for being here tonight, being part of the show. I really do appreciate it, man. You guys make the truth happen, and I really do I really do appreciate you guys being part of it and helping this cause keep going forward. So that being said, thanks again to everybody on the Rewatch crew, on X, on Rumble, on YouTube. You guys are awesome. Thanks to the mods. Thanks to everybody else. Thanks to the members. Thank you, God. Thank everybody. All right. And until next time, all the people I just mentioned and more, keep on winning.
This is a friendship that